That says never borrow money needlessly, but when you need to borrow, you'll get more than just money from HFC. Your Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers, those gallant men of Olds who invite you to see the all-new 75s. Because if you don't see Oldsmobile for 75, you'll never know what you're missing. And by the G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. La, 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 la.
Household Finance believes that the holidays should be happy days. Days without a care or a worry in the world. They should be days to spend enjoying your home and your family to the fullest. So if we can possibly take a money problem off your mind, remember, we're always nearby and ready to help. Throughout the years and the many holidays we've celebrated since 1878, we've probably helped more families celebrate happy, carefree holidays than any other company of our kind in the world. If we can be of any help to you this year, please don't hesitate to give us a call. That's Household Finance, an equal opportunity lender.
Showdown time at Ohio Stadium. And it seems like we've been saying that annually now for a great number of years. Only because it's been true. As these two great rivals in the Midwest, Ohio State and Michigan, have been coming right down to the wire in these last several seasons, where this game decides Big Ten championship, a trip to the Rose Bowl, and in some cases a national championship. Strangely enough today, Michigan coming in unbeaten and untied in this season, ranked ahead of Ohio State. National Bowl is still an underdog by more than a touchdown. And here comes Ohio State University's football squad back out on the field to another tremendous ovation from this crowd, which will be of record proportions. A stadium that seats something like 83,000 plus today will be jammed with nearly 88 or 89,000. University of Michigan Wolverines making their re-entrance onto the field. And of course, a chorus of boos. There are some Michigan fans here today. Some 4,000 seats, we are told, were allotted to the University of Michigan. And I was also told that they are not in one section, which means that those few thousand holding Michigan tickets are pretty well scattered around this big horseshoe stadium, which is open at the end to our right. That's at the south end of the field. Game has been blessed with absolutely beautiful weather. They expect the temperature here to reach near the 60s today. We'll be back with more on these two fine football games and the kickoff in just 1 minute.
Get your lemonade! Lemonade!
Remember those old lemonade stands kids used to put up on the hottest days in Chicago, selling lemonade for 2 cents a glass? Back then, you could kind of tell who was going to grow up to be a gallant man of Olds, especially if all you had was 1 cent.
Hi, is that enough? Well, sure. Good deal.
You're a gallant man of Olds. He always was the kind of guy who could make a deal and a friend at the same time. Like the deals he's making right now on the economical 1975 Oldsmobiles, on the entire mid-size Cutlass family, those thrifty little Omegas, and the sporty new Starfire, all engineered to give you a lot more miles between tune-ups and other recommended maintenance. All with gas-saving radial tires standard, substantially better fuel economy, and the friendliest trades and deals in town. So come on in, see your Chicagoland gallant man of Olds.
We would like to have at least an hour to talk about some of the key people who are going to be playing football here this afternoon, but of course time is not going to permit that. But some that we better talk about immediately are the quarterbacks, because they are the keys to the offense for both of these teams. That's Dennis Franklin, a senior for Michigan, who has been nursing a bad ankle. He re-injured it in the 51-0 conquest by Michigan last Saturday over Purdue. He's a senior from Massillon, Ohio. Last year, he did a better job running than he has this year, and undoubtedly Franklin's running this season has been held back because of the ankle and also because earlier he had a virus infection. He is 6'1", 180. He has hit on 59% of his passes, completing 53 out of 90, 7 of them for touchdowns. Only 3 of Franklin's 90 passes have been intercepted. He has totaled 837 yards in the air. As a runner, he has averaged only 2 8/10 yards a carry, and he's carried 98 times. Now let's look at Cornelius Green of Ohio State, a junior, 6-footer. He has carried 125 times, 27 more than Dennis Franklin. His average per carry is 5.9, almost 6 yards a carry, and Franklin has scored 8 touchdowns rushing. So he has done a tremendous job running the option. As a passer, he has not put the ball in the air as frequently as has Franklin for Michigan. Green has thrown 77 times and completed 47 of them. That's a 61% completion. He has had 4 of them intercepted. He has scored 9 touchdowns passing. His primary receivers, well, you can look at Dave Hazel, a split end, a senior. You can look at Byron Baschnagel, a wingback, who's right now with 17 receptions, their number 1 receiver. They also have a tight end, Mike Bartosik, who is actually listed as a number 2 tight end, a senior. He's 6'4", 218. He's caught 13 passes. In front of him is probably the biggest tight end in college football, Doug France, a senior, who is 6'6", 260 pounds. He has only caught 5 passes, but he's a tough guy to bring down when he does get that ball in the air. And 5 co-captains here for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes, Lou, have won the toss, right?
I haven't seen the toss yet, my friend. I don't know. Did they toss prior to the meeting of the captains? Okay. But Michigan's defense will be tested today. In all games, they have only given up 63 points. In the Big Ten statistics, they've only given up 47.
They've done a tremendous job.
Yes, they have, but it'll be tested today with this fine Ohio State offense. Possession will mean so much in today's football game. Mistakes. And both of these football teams do not turn over that football very often.
Both Schembechler and Woody Hayes, both Schembechler for Michigan and Woody for Ohio, are coaches who are, well, they really like to keep the ball on the ground if they possibly can. They certainly favor the running game. That's been the history. And you cannot quarrel with the success that these two gentlemen have enjoyed in the coaching ranks. While Woody Hayes is a national institution, and when you think about Ohio State, you just obviously have to think about Woody. Bo Schembechler, in the few years that he has been at Michigan, has compiled an absolutely amazing record. Well, we give you the figures on it. We remind you that this is WGN Radio, Chicago. He has won 58 ball games, lost only 6, and tied 1. And that tie is still galling. It came last year at Ann Arbor in the final meeting between these two teams. They wound up 10-10. And while Schembechler and Michigan thought that they would be the team selected by the Big Ten representatives to go to the Rose Bowl, that was not to be the case. They thought that those people who voted on it, the athletic directors, that because Franklin had been injured in the final game of the season against Ohio State, that Ohio State would be a better representative. Who can quarrel with their judgment, because Ohio State went on and won the Rose Bowl rather handily. But Bo, against Ohio State, has played Woody 5 times. He has beaten him twice. He has lost to him twice. And they have had that one tie last year. We have 5 co-captains on the field down here for Ohio State. Dennis Franklin is co-captain along with safety man Dave Brown for Michigan, and we are having the toss of the coin. Archie Griffin, a junior, and undoubtedly an exceptionally strong candidate for the Heisman Trophy. Offensive center Steve Myers, defensive back Neil Colsey, linebacker Arnie Jones, and defensive tackle Pete Cusick are the co-captains. On kickoff returns, Ohio State will have Leonard Willis, who is a transfer from a junior college, a junior. Is a middle man. He's the guy they like to have return to kickoffs, and he may well be the very fastest man on this football field today. Willis, a junior, one of the least known of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 6-footer, 182, comes from Washington, D.C. He has returned kickoffs for 377 yards, 2 of them for touchdowns. He has averaged over 31 yards of return. He will be flanked by Brian Bashtinkle, a wingback, and by Archie Griffin, who has to be one of the most celebrated football players in the history of collegiate football, and he is only a junior. Ohio State, just below us, wearing the crimson jerseys with the silver helmets. Michigan, the visiting team, will be kicking off, and they are all in white with, of course, the black or the maize and gold helmets. Although the last time we were here, Michigan's Bo Schembechler twice had opportunities to go for a field goal to tie up the ball game. He disdained that. He tried to go for the touchdown, failed to do it, and wound up a 14-11 loser.
And Vince, we were talking earlier this morning about the statistics that come out saying that Bo has not won his last game over the last few years, including Rose Bowl and against Ohio State. He's tied 10-10. So he's had a little nemesis against him, a jinx, let's say, in the last game scheduled for the Wolverines.
Well, he did win the final game of the season a few years ago up there, and then they went out and they lost by 1 point in the Rose Bowl. But his record is something that is just absolutely amazing. The officials for today's game, the referee is Bob Fallon, the umpire Don Mason, the line judge Gene Carabine, the field judge Otto Foltz, the back judge Donald Hakes, and the head linesman from LaGrange, Illinois, Bill Filson, who has been an outstanding official in the Big Ten for some 17 years. And because Bill Filson has reached the mandatory retirement age of 55, he is working his last Big Ten game today. That's Bill Filson, who has just been an outstanding official. Weather is absolutely superb. A bright, sunshiny, autumn type of day. Kicking off will be Mike Lantry, a left-footed kicker. Ball teed up just inside the hash mark below us on the 40-yard line. Leonard Willis, a deep man, just about at the 2, shading his eyes from the bright sun. Lantry coming forward. Here is the boot. A high one, but it's going to be taken at the 4-yard line by Willis. To the 10. Cutting to his right to the 15. He is hit, and he is brought down at a very fine tackle at about the 13-yard line. Excellent coverage by Don Dufek from Grand Rapids, Michigan, the number 2 tackler on this Michigan State team. A Wolfman whose dad, Don, was an ex-fullback at Michigan, and Dufek, a junior, made the stop. It's going to be 1st and 10. They put the ball at the 12-yard line. Pete Johnson is in there at fullback for Ohio State. He is wearing number 33. Brian Bashtinkle, a wingback. Archie Griffin and Cornelius Green in the backfield. They have a wingback to the left. That is Bashtinkle, and the split end is Hazel wide to the left side. From the I formation. Cornelius Green in the option. Coming to the left. Puts the ball in the air. Almost intercepted. And I believe that it was Tommy Drake who leaped high in the air for that football and just missed holding onto it. Drake, a senior.
Well, this is an indication of what Woody Hayes is thinking about, opening up with the first play. Have you ever seen that before?
Nope.
With a pass deep in their own territory.
He was going out there for the wingback. Brian Baschnagel, who has caught 17 passes this year and has averaged over 13 yards a carry. Tommy Drake, by the way, has 4 interceptions this year. He is a senior. There are 6 starting seniors for Michigan defensively. Green quickly dropping back. Now he's going to run, and he is hit at the 10-yard line. Fumbles. Who's got it? I believe Ohio State recovered the fumble. It was Dan Gillick who made the penetration. The defensive left end junior from Sterling Heights, 210-pounder. He is not big, but he is quick. And it is going to be for Ohio State, 3rd down and 12. 3rd and 12. Baschnagel is a wingback to the left side. Center is Steve Myers, a senior, one of the outstanding centers. Green on the draw. Michigan. Great defense. Penetration. Pete Johnson, the 246-pound fullback, is hit and knocked down in his tracks by the middle guard, Tim Davis. And he is not big. Davis, number 56 from Warren, Ohio. For Michigan, the nose man, and he plays right in front of that center. He's only 210. Safety man deep for Michigan, Dave Brown. Getting set to boot it is Tom Scludini, who is the finest collegiate punter in the nation this year. He has averaged 45.5 yards. Michigan playing for a return. Ball bounces at the 41 of Ohio State. Takes a Buckeye bounce and winds up in Michigan territory at the 47-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10, a 45-yard kick by Scludini. And that is a half yard under his average. No return.
Well, Woody Hayes must be anticipating this great defense of Michigan of stopping Griffin and Green as he opened up his first series of downs with 2 attempted passes that failed. Now Michigan with good field position, first possession of the football.
Dennis Franklin, and he has a wing back to the left side. He turns and he gives to his tailback, hard running Gordon Bell, and Bell finds a bit of an opening between right guard and tackle as it crossed the 50-yard line. Hit by Pete Gilsick, 250-pound senior tackle, and Van de Cree, another senior. There are 8 seniors off defensively for Ohio State, 3 of them among the front 4, 2 among the 3 linebackers, and 3 among the secondary. Split end Jim Smith wide to the left side. It is 2nd down and 5. Michigan with a 5-yard gain by Gordon Bell on the first offensive play. Franklin tucks it into the midsection of his fullback, Chuck Heater, and a heater. Plows off left guard and tackle to the 45-yard line of Ohio State. Hit there by Pete Gilsick, who makes his 2nd tackle of this game. Heater, 210-pound senior from Tiffin, Ohio. He has averaged 4.4 yards a carry. Gordon Bell, the tailback, who carried for the first time, picked up 5 yards, is only 175. They do not have the big crushing back. They're going from a power I on 3rd and 2 from the 45 of Ohio, and they give to Bell. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Slumps his way through, and he gets the first down yardage to about the Ohio State 42-yard line, brought down there by Nick Wanamichi, a sophomore from Brentwood, New York. Plays the defensive left tackle. Leonard is a freshman here last year. Wanamichi, 6'3", 238. It is 1st and 10, and that is the first down registered here this afternoon. Ohio State, taking the opening kickoff, was stopped cold. Jim Smith comes out of the split end to the left side, I formation with a wing back. Gil Chapman on the left side. Franklin turns. He fakes again. Fires a pass to Chapman. Complete at the 25. Fakes it back to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Chapman is in for a touchdown. Michigan leads 6-0.
A first pass attempt by Franklin is completed to Chapman, and a beautiful run, a 42-yard gain, and a touchdown as Chapman, as soon as he got to that flag in the end zone, Vince, put both feet inside before he was pushed out of bounds.
All right. Gil Chapman, the number 1 receiver for Michigan, a senior from Elizabeth, New Jersey. That is his 3rd touchdown on the receiving end of a pass this year. Now we'll have the try for the point after by Mike Lantry, left-footed kicker. Here's the boot from the 10. Tommy Drake holding. The kick is good, and Landry has just converted for the 40th time this year. 11:52 remaining to play in the first quarter. Michigan leads 7-0.
Two things make Old Style, the beer from God's country, really exceptional. Pure brewing water and a unique brewing process called cloisening. The water is crystal clear and flows from springs deep beneath the floor of a beautiful valley. Some folks say all the way from Canada.
All right, a few minutes ago, Ohio State took the opening kickoff. Could do nothing with the football. They're going to take another kickoff here momentarily, and again it'll be Leonard Willis who will be the middleman, standing just in front of his goal line. Well, Lou, last year in this football game at Ann Arbor, we saw Ohio State take a 10-0 halftime lead and then held down by their fingernails to preserve a tie in that game.
Well, Vince, if we recall our interview with both athletic directors, both men, Ed Weaver, Ohio State, and Don Canham of Michigan, both anticipated a high-scoring affair. And it looks as if that's what we're in for, because on the first series of downs, on Ohio State's 12-yard line, possession of the football, they attempted 2 passes. This is not Woody Hayes' style of play.
Not at all.
And he's anticipating, of course, that Michigan's defense will stop Griffin. Here's the kickoff, Vince.
Landry comes forward, sends a driving kick that lands in the end zone, runs out of the end zone. It'll be a touchback, no run back this time. So the Ohio State Buckeyes, who've lost 1 game this year to Michigan State, will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line, and they are trailing 7-0. Renadius Green was a very fine broken field runner, number 7, their quarterback. Pete Johnson, 246-pound sophomore, the fullback. Brian Bashnickel, the wingback, and number 45, Archie Griffin, the wingback. He lines up behind Johnson in that I formation. Tight end is on the left side, the wingback to the right. Green turns, he gives it to Griffin. Griffin is met by Steve Strinko right at the 20-yard line and driven back. Strinko, an outstanding linebacker from Middleton, Ohio, a senior 230-pounder.
Vince, Michigan's defensive line is not 2 yards apart or 3 yards apart. They look as if they're 4 or 5 yards spaced. Consequently, their linebackers are going to have to depend to fill up that gap, and that's exactly what Strinko did.
They like to spread out a bit to stop Griffin or Green on the option going to the outside. Green's going to put it in the air, drops back, takes loose, fires the pass. It is incomplete. A flag on the play. There may be interference against Michigan's Dave Brown, who was trying to cover Brian Bashnickel. Officially, if it is ruled interference against Michigan, and that's what it is, it'll be ruled a completed forward pass.
And fortunately for Ohio State, because Green's toss was far over the head of the intended receiver.
Yes, it was. Looked like he threw a knuckleball. They placed the ball at the 36-yard line of Ohio State, 1st and 10. Wing back to the right side of the tight end on the left side for Ohio. Green fakes the give. On the option, he pitches out to Griffin. Griffin coming around right in, breaks a tackle. He's to the 45, still going inside the right sideline, across the 50, and the crowd roars as Archie Griffin gets that ball in Michigan territory before he is finally brought down at the 46-yard line. Archie, who in 21 straight games has rolled to 100 or more yards per game, has just reeled off an 18-yarder. Jeff Perlinger finally brought him down. He has averaged over 7 yards a carry. 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes. 7-0 Michigan. Green turns, gives, he fakes again. He is keeping. Coming around right end, and he is finally driven out of bounds in front of the Ohio State bench at the 42-yard line. And Green is exceptionally adept at the option play. That time he faked the give into the line, then moved to the outside to his right and was finally driven out of bounds by number 33, Carl Russ. linebacker, a senior from Muskegon Heights, Michigan. Gus, by the way, wants a career in radio and television. Bashninkle in motion from the wingback spot to the left. Green gives this time to the big fullback and a quick opener, Pete Johnson, crashing over his own left tackle. And he's inside the Michigan 40 to the Wolverines. 37-yard line before he is brought down by defensive end Larry Banks, whose twin brother Harry plays in the cornerback spot behind him. Both are seniors. Banks from Cleveland, Ohio, 210-pounder. He is the fellow who said Archie Griffin will not gain 100 yards in this football game. If he does, it'll be over my dead body. It is now 3rd down and 1 for Ohio State. Green turns and he gives on a drive to the fullback Johnson, dragged down finally by Greg Morton, but not until he got the first down across the 35 to the 33-yard line. Johnson, let me remind you again, 246 pounds. He has averaged over 4 yards a carry this year. He was met by number 77 defensive tackle Greg Morton from Akron, Ohio, a 230-pound junior, and the number 3 tackler for the Wolverines. They stay in a 4-man defensive front. They give to Archie Griffin left side. Tries to read it to the outside after bumping into his blocker, Pete Johnson, and then he was brought down after a short gain, trying to move around Larry Banks at defensive end, but he couldn't do it. Jim Davis, the middle guard, coming over to help make the stop, and a short gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Ohio State in great field position now for the pass. And whether Woody wanted to loosen up that Michigan defense by throwing early and consequently going to his running game, it has been successful thus far.
And he may pass here. He has Bashninkle and Hazel as wide receivers to the right side. But the give goes to Archie. No, he fakes the give. He keeps fumbles. Looks like Michigan will recover. Fumble recovered by Michigan. Harry Banks, Larry's twin brother, is a fellow who got the fumble recovery. Ohio State this year has now fumbled 21 times, and that is the 16th time the Buckeyes have lost the football this year because of a fumble. Leading 7-0. Michigan takes over 1st and 10 on its own 26-yard line. Franklin turns and he fakes the give. Coming to the right on the option, pitches to Bell. Bell driven out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Hit over there by the defensive right end, Jim Cope. That time he was playing on the short side of the field, which Hayes will do quite frequently with his secondary and with his ends. He will switch them. Gordon Bell, the ball carrier. Bell now in 3 carries, 11 yards. 2nd down and 6. Michigan with a 7-0 lead. Working. Here's a give to Bell. Bell finds a quick opener right up the left side. He's got a 1st and 10 all the way to the 40-yard line. He has tremendous speed. 175-pounder, excellent moves, and Bell has just ripped off in a 10-yard gain.
Well, he's the man that Michigan wants to see if they can get loose, Vince. He has great action, great balance, and with great speed. He can break a game open at any part of that football field.
And who made the stop on him is Tim Fox, a junior safety. 186-pounder, 1st and 10. Gil Chapman, wing back on the right side. Here's the give, and it's to Bell. Almost lost his footing. Slices through right side, and he's up to the 50 and into Ohio State territory to the 46-yard line. And that Michigan offensive line is driving Ohio State out of there. They're led by Dennis Franks, the center. Not to be confused with the man right behind him, Dennis Franklin, the quarterback. There's a 14-yard gain. Steve Luke, a senior cornerback, making the stop. Franks, a senior, 225, flanked by Dave Betts, a senior. Kirk Lewis, a junior, 240. Franklin turns, and he gives this time to Heater, the fullback. hurdles over somebody at the line of scrimmage. I believe it is Pete Cusick. Read the carry to the left side as he went through the hole, and he advances it down to the 39-yard line. Good block thrown for him by tackle Steve King, a 245-pound senior for Michigan, mathematics major from Tiffin, Ohio. Jimmy Smith split in, comes out to the left side. Gil Chapman, who has caught a touchdown pass, wing back to the left, the tight end on the right side. Second down and 3. Franklin fakes a give. He keeps, reaches back to the inside, and he is brought down by Nick Buonamacci. He is just barely shy, I believe, of first down yardage. So far, Lou, Franklin's ankle seems to be holding up very well.
Yes, indeed. That's their bread and butter play. His option, whether to toss to Bell behind him or to keep possession of the ball. And now I see Kirk Lewis is leaving the field, injured, limping. They're replaced by Ardmore. Here's the same spot that Michigan was in when Franklin threw to Chapman for the score.
Third down, short yardage. Ohio State with the 7 men up at that line of scrimmage, and the gift goes to Chapman. He will go nowhere. He tried it over right tackle, and there was nothing but crimson jerseys there to meet him, led by Pete Cusick, the 250-pound defensive senior. They have Van de Cree, number 88, a defensive end, 218, a senior. Buonamacci, a sophomore, 238. Cusick, a senior, 250. Jim Cope, a senior, 235. Bruce Elia, a linebacker, is a senior and an outstanding football player, number 36. Arnie Jones, also a linebacker, a senior, 240. Ken Thompson, a linebacker, is a sophomore at 219. They get the first down yardage. And that for Michigan is their 4th first down of this football game. How in the world he got it, I'll never know.
Well, Vince, now on the Ohio State 36-yard line, let's see if Franklin puts this ball in the air. First and 10.
First and 10 at the 36-yard line of Ohio State. On the option, Franklin to the right, finally pitches to Bell. Bell run out of bounds after a very short gain by, let me see who that is over there. I believe it is Jim Cope or Steve Luke, who's a pre-dental student here at Ohio State. He played under Bob Cummings when he was at high school at Massillon, Ohio. Bob, of course, now the head football coach at University of Iowa. 7-0 Michigan.
And Vince using that short side of the field, that play is, of course, on the bulletin board to gain 3 or 4 yards, and that's exactly what they did, picking up 4 or 5 yards on that play.
Second and 5 at the Ohio State 31-yard line. Here's a snap. And to give to Bell. Bell on a slant over his own left guard and tackle. And he gets it across the 30. Brought down by Van de Cree at about the 28-yard line. It's going to be third down and about 2. Coming in for Ohio State is George Brzezinski as a tight end. He is replacing Gil Chapman in there. So they get a little more muscle up front. Brzezinski, a junior, 215 from Grand Rapids, Michigan. High formation. Franklin fakes the give, pitches to Bell, turns the corner, cuts downfield. He's got the first down across the 25 and all the way to about the 22-yard line. It is brought down by Tim Fox and Doug Plank. Bell with excellent moves and great speed, and that time Franklin ran that option absolutely perfectly. Michigan has been confronted 3 times with third down situations, and the Wolverines have converted on all 3. They have it first and 10 at the 22-yard line of Ohio State. 5 minutes, 55 seconds remaining to play in the first quarter. Michigan leading 7-0. Ohio State with a nose man right in front of Myers at center. Franklin turns, gives the Bell, reaches to the right side. Dragged down at a very fine stop by Arnie Jones, the middle linebacker, who slowed him up enough so that Nick Buonamacci could come in and make the final stop.
And Vince, that's the first time that Ohio State's defensive line was off the ball quicker than Michigan's line offensively, and this is the reason for that stop. It's off the ball. It is very important because angles on that blocking assignment up front is very important. If you get that first lick in on that defensive man, he's a step behind the ball carrier.
Chapman and Smith, wide receivers, left side. Franklin's looking for him, fakes the give, fires a pass in the end zone. It is batted down on a beautiful defensive play by the veteran Neil Cozy, who came out of a hospital just last night and batted down that pass. He had great coverage on the fine split end. Jim Smith, the sophomore, who starred at Chicago's Eisenhower High School. He is the number 2 receiver on the team with 19 catches this year for the touchdowns. But that time, Cozy, the veteran center, or senior rather, who has 5 interceptions out of the 19 by Ohio State's defense, played him perfectly. 3rd and 8 from the 21-yard line. Franklin is looking again in the air, looks to the right side, fires a pass, incomplete. Great coverage that time by Ohio State, including Ken Thompson and Steve Luke. On the tight end, Greg Denbauer was from Kentwood, Ohio, a senior. He has caught 8 passes this year. It is 4th down and 8. And Mike Lantry, who had an excellent day last Saturday against Purdue, will try for his 8th field goal of the year. He got his longest of the year last Saturday, a 43-yarder. Tom Drake to hold. The kick will come from the 27 or 28. It'll be a 38-yard attempt. The kick is up. Lantry knows immediately it's good. As soon as he boots it, he brings both arms up in the air. He knew he made it. And with 4:57 remaining to play in the first quarter, Michigan leads Ohio State 10-0.
Depending upon where you live, you look forward to different things during the holidays. In one part of the country, it's the picture postcard brightness of country towns, wreathed in the clear white of winter. In other areas, it could be the sun shining down. Warm is the feeling that glows within us all at this time of year. At HFC, we'd like to take this opportunity to wish you the best for the season and the best for the new year. And also to remind you that if we can be of service to you during the holidays, please come in and see us at Household Finance, an equal opportunity lender.
Well, with 4:57 left here in the first period, Michigan has dominated play thus far, leading 10-0. At halftime in Class 4A, Illinois High School Championship football game, Rockford East 21, Normal 8. Ohio State, with their backs to the wall here early in this football game, must show something offensively now to get out and head forward with 4:57 left in the first period. Mike Ree all set for the kickoff here.
Mike, a Vietnam veteran. He gets under this one, gets a very high kick. It is taken by Willis at the 5-yard line. Buckeye to the 10, goes to the left to the 15, tries to put a little head fake on there to break loose. Can't do it. He is brought down just about at the 20-yard line by the very fine middle guard Tim Davis. And by Dwight Hicks, a freshman for Michigan from Pensacola, New Jersey. Cornelius Green, Brian Baschnagel, Harold Pete Johnson at fullback, and Archie Griffin comprise the backfield for the Buckeyes. They had one great drive going and then fumbled. And Michigan, after recovering the fumble, drove eventually for a field goal. Baschnagel in motion to the right, and Green gives this time to the fullback. Pete Johnson, crashing over his own right guard and tackle, gets about 3 yards. One of the men in there, Steve Strenko, and another is Tim Davis. Davis, very quick, very strong, a junior, 5'10", 210. He is a zoology major at Michigan from Warren, Ohio. Bashnagel as a wingback comes over to the right side. Now in motion to the left. Tight end of the left side. Green turns, he gives to Archie Griffin. He is tripped up. And tripped up initially by Tim Davis, who is making penetration in there as a middle guard. And Ohio State knew that there was going to be a great battle between Davis, who plays right on the nose of that center, Steve Myers. Steve, co-captain of the Buckeyes and a senior, is considered one of the outstanding collegiate centers in the country, and he is big. 6'2", 243. Flanked by Ted Smith on one side, Dick Mack on the other, and Dick is the son of the late Ray Mack, who played second base with Lou over at Cleveland in baseball a few years ago, and his brother Tom, football player with the Rams. Here it is to Doug France at tight end, and France across the 35 to almost the 40-yard line before brought down by Banks, Harry Banks, that is, and Carl Russ. WGN Radio, Chicago. We've told you that Doug France is one of the biggest tight ends, if not the biggest in collegiate football. 6'6", 260. He had played last year at offensive tackle. This senior from Dayton, Ohio, has just made his 6th reception of the year. It is good for 15 yards. 1st and 10 for Ohio State, just outside their own 40. Give to Archie Griffin. Quick opener. Breaks past the line of scrimmage. Shakes off the tackle by Steve Strinko and is out to the 48-yard line before Dave Brown can bring him down. Archie now has carried 5 times and has amassed 30 yards. He needs 39 more to eclipse his own all-time Big Ten record of yards gained rushing in a season. Second down and 2. 8-yard gain that time by Griffin. Green on the option, he keeps. Got a good block that time on Greg Morton. And the block thrown by Kurt Schumacher. And Green all the way to the 45-yard line of Michigan. Schumacher, a senior, 254-pounder. He missed the game against Michigan State. And there are many observers who say, had he been in there, they never would have lost that game. He is an offensive tackle. .72, Kurt Schumacher. Give to Griffin. Griffin this time is miffed hard at the line of scrimmage, trying the left side. And if he gains anything, it may be a yard. He's brought down by Greg Morton and by Steve Strinko for Michigan. Gets it just across to the 44-yard line, a gain of a yard by Archie that time. It is 2nd down and 9. Michigan leading 10-0. Gil Chapman took a pass for a touchdown. Lantry a field goal. Bashnagel from his wingback spot comes in motion to the right side. Green fakes a give, pitches out. Here is Griffin. He's got daylight. He's down to the 35, to the 30, and is brought down by safety man Dave Brown. And by Tim Davis. But not until he had a 14-yard gain.
Let me tell you, Green got rid of that football just in time.
Beautiful.
Because he was hit very hard by Morton, but the pass was perfect to Griffin.
Good end Hazel to the right side. Tight end is on the left, and Bashnagel in motion to the left for Ohio State. The Buckeyes on the move. They give to the fullback, and Big Pete Johnson is brought down after a short gain of about 3 yards as he drove hard between right guard and tackle, and he is brought down by Davis and by Dan Gillick. A minute remaining to play in the first quarter. Michigan with a 10-0 lead. Last year, in the final game between these two teams at Columbus, Ohio State took a 10-0 lead. Hazel and Bashnagel, wide receivers to the left side. Johnson, the up man in the eye. Cornelius Green coming to the right, fakes the give, moves laterally, and loses some ground, and he is buried for a loss at the 35-yard line. Greg Morton and Dan Gillick in there defensively. And also coming up quickly, Harry Banks. -8 yards on that one.
This, of course, will force Ohio State to put the ball in the air, something they do not like to do, even though they opened up this football game with successive passes on the first 2 downs. This is a big and important play. They may not get it off, Vince, before the quarter ends.
Time is running on the clock. It shows 10 seconds right now remaining in the quarter. 3rd and 15. Green has it. Throws to the left side, comes back to the right side. He's got a blocker in front of him. He's going to run. He's to the 30, and that's as far as he'll go. He was stopped initially by one man from the front, and then somebody came crashing in from behind Lou, and he hit him as hard as he can take. Was that Kyle Russ?
Kyle Russ, and also Strinko came in. But credit Harry Banks with stopping Griffin in its tracks. He tried to fake him out of his defensive position, but couldn't do so. And then, of course, Banks was aided by Russ and Strinko.
There's the end of the first quarter. When play is resumed, it'll be 4th and 10 from the 30-yard line to score. At the end of the first quarter, Michigan 10, Ohio State nothing.
Remember back in the days when kids made scooters out of orange crates and old roller skates? Well, you could kind of tell who was going to grow up to be a gallant man of olds, especially if your scooter lost a skate.
Don't worry, I'll fix it.
He was the kind of guy you could count on to make things right again.
There you go, Isabel.
Your gallant man of olds. He's still the kind of guy you can count on today when you buy a new Oldsmobile. Like the sporty little Starfire, the exciting 4-seater with aerodynamic styling, high-back bucket seats, synchro mesh transmission, gas-saving radial tires, and a gutsy but economical V6 engine. Like every 1975 Oldsmobile, it's engineered to give you many more miles between tune-ups and other recommended maintenance. And when you do need service, you've got 46 guys you can count on. Your Chicagoland gallant men of olds.
Ohio State is going to try to get on the scoreboard here with a field goal attempt by Clavin, and it will be from the 40. It'll be a 47-yard attempt. 10-0, Michigan over Ohio State. And here's the first play of the second quarter.
All right, Tom Clavin, a junior from Cincinnati, is a soccer-style kicker. Here's a snap, fumbled momentarily, put down in time for the kick, and it is good. And Clavin knew immediately that he had his 5th field goal in the year out of 7 tries. The Buckeyes are on the board. But it is now 10-3.
Vince, give him a lot of credit, and also that holder, because the pass from center was low, and it bounced in front of him, and yet the gentleman who held that,
Brian Baschnigel,
put it up perfectly, and the timing was there for Claiborne.
Well, both of these field goal kickers, Mike Landry and Tom Clavin, the moment they have put their foot into that ball, they have raised their arms up triumphantly. They knew right away that they've got it made. And there was a great one. A 47-yard field goal by the Ohio State Buckeyes on the first play of the second quarter. Now, Tom Scladini, who does the punting and also does the kickoffs, tees up the ball on the hash mark on the far side of the field. The deep men, Gil Chapman, who is a primary return man for Michigan on kickoffs, and he also has Gordon Bell and Rob Lytle flanking him. Lytle is on the far side. To his left, Chapman, with 10 kickoff returns this year, has averaged 19 and a half yards. Beautiful high kick taken in the end zone. Chapman up to the 5, to the 10, makes a move to the 15, to the 20, and he is hit and driven down just across the 20-yard line. Boy, he is fast. Aaron Brown, a freshman from Warren, Ohio, made the tackle for Ohio State. Dennis Franklin coming in to quarterback Michigan, which leads 10-3. He sends Jimmy Smith is split in to the right side, has Chapman as a wingback to the right. He has Heater and Bell as the running backs, and he gives it to Heater, the fullback. He finds some running room right in the middle of that line and gets it out to about the 25 or 26-yard line.
Vince, in the previous games that we've watched Michigan, Bo Schembecker, their coach, has put Bell in for a quarter and then Lytle in for a quarter. But I see that he is keeping his combination of Bell and Heater in that backfield.
Heater is a senior from Tiffin, Ohio. Gordon Bell is a junior from Troy, Ohio. Bell, 5'9", 175. Heater, 6'2", 210. Was a tailback. This year they use him as a fullback, and he has extreme quickness to give to Bell. Bell puts his head down, runs into a lot of resistance on a slant over his own right tackle, and he gets the ball out to perhaps the 28-yard line. It's going to be third down and about 3.
And there's been a little adjustment made on Ohio State's defensive line. They also now are split a little more than the yard that normally they would use defensively, trying to keep Bell inside.
Artie Jones doing a very beautiful job from his middle linebacker spot, number 42, a 240-pound senior. He had his best game last year against Michigan when he made 13 tackles against the Wolverines. Third down and 4. On the option to the left side, the pitch to Bell. He's got room and he's got the first down. Sweeping around left end all the way across the 35 to about the 39. Brought down there by linebacker Bruce Elia, who as a fullback last year pressed into service as a fullback, did an outstanding job after the third game.
That's exactly what Ohio State does not want. Bell to the outside. With his speed and his ability to cut back sharply, he gains quite a few yards if he can get outside.
Great block thrown by the big tight end, Greg Denbauer. Cleared the way for the 12-yard advance, first and 10 from the 39. Here's Heater on the carry, and he finds a little daylight over his own left guard, reads it back into the middle, brought down eventually by Van de Cree and Ken Thompson, but not until he got it out to the 45-yard line. Heater, coming into the game, has carried 138 times, amassed 604 yards, scored 7 touchdowns rushing, average almost 4.5 yards a carry. Right now, he has 23 yards for the day in 5 advances. Bell, the leading ball carrier, 61 yards in 11 carries. Second down and 5 from the 44. Here's Heater again. Nope, it is Franklin. Faked the gift to Heater and then slipped and fell. Before he even got to the line of scrimmage, he loses perhaps a yard.
Now, in my opinion, Vince, the secret of Michigan's offensive maneuvering here in this game thus far with a 10-3 lead has been their third down situations. They have made 4 for 4, and now this is their 5th third down situation.
Dave Metz comes in as a lineman replacing Kirk Lewis. Metz is senior, 235 from Harrison, Ohio. Jim Smith split out wide to the right side and Chapman a wing back to the right side. Franklin takes the reverse, steps back, fires a pass, intercepted by Elia. For Ohio State to the 50 to the 45. And the Buckeyes have the ball. That's for Bruce Elia. His 3rd interception of the year. And the 20th interception by the Buckeye defense this season. Jim Armour, Steve King finally brought Elia, the former fullback, down. Buckeyes trailing 10-3. Timeout taken. We'll be back in a moment.
What makes Old Style a great light beer? Where it's brewed and how it's brewed. That's why Old Style is double brewed in God's country, where the water is crystal clear and flows from springs deep beneath the floor of a beautiful valley, some say all the way from Canada. With water this pure, when you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. This double brewing process is called cloisening. Cloisening is a traditional old-world process, the most natural way to brew beer, and the most expensive. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country.
to go on to score. They trail 10-3 here. They have the ball on Michigan's 44-yard line.
Here they come out of that line huddle. Wide receivers to the left side. Cornelius Green, the quarterback, and a pitch to the running back, Archie Griffin. Tries the quick opener over the left side, met hard by Carl Russ, Steve Strinko, and Larry Banks. No gain by Archie Griffin that time. And for the day so far, Archie has now carried the ball 8 times for 45 yards. The unofficial stats kept for us here by Dick Finn from the Ohio State University coaching staff. Head coach here at baseball. Tackle broken here by Griffin at the 43, and Griffin drives forward inside the Michigan 40. And there was superb effort brought down by Steve Strinko. Big gain. Make it 3rd down and 4.
Looks as if Archie might have been shaken up on that play, but he's still in there.
He broke that tackle by Strinko initially for 4 more yards. 3rd down and 4. Bashnagel in motion to the right side. And a give to Griffin. Big opening on the left. He's across the 30 to the 25-yard line before Carl Russ can drag him down. There is the play that Ohio State can work to perfection in a 13-yard gain. Trap in that line. Quick opener coming back to the left side off the tackle, and Griffin exploded.
There was quickness galore on Griffin's part. Even though he has been limping going back into the huddle, he showed no signs of a limp once he got to that line of scrimmage.
Think he was decoying.
He could be.
Now Ohio State, 1st and 10 at the 25, trailing by 7. Green on the pitch to Griffin, coming to the left side, cuts back into the right, gives a little head fake, gets across the 20 to the 18, brought down by Dave Brown and Morton. And that, for Archie Griffin, is a new all-time Big Ten record in yards rushing. He has gone over the 69-yard mark. In this game, he now has 71 yards. He needed 69. An 8-yard gallop, and Griffin is suddenly coming alive. Tim Davis, the middle guard, is limping off the field for Michigan. Rick Kolchak, a junior from Toledo, Ohio, is replacing Davis. Here's the fake give, rolling out to the right side and being dragged down by down defect is Cornelius Green for a loss. Back to the 23-yard line.
I think the timing of that play was off somewhat because he fumbled the ball from the snap. And consequently, Green's timing was off, and he didn't give time enough for his blockers or interference men from the guard positions to pull out.
Dufek doing a beautiful job of reading it. He went high initially on his charge, then wrapped his arms around the waist and dragged him back. It is 3rd down and 7 from the 22. Michigan leading 10-3. Bashnagel in motion left side. Green on the quick opener to fullback. Pete Johnson gets across the 20. And down to the Michigan 18 or 19-yard line where it's going to be 4th down and about 3. Brought down by linebacker Calvin O'Neill, a junior from Saginaw, Michigan.
They're going to go for it, Bill.
Yes, sir. Doug France, big tight end, comes in, replacing Bartosik. France, 6'6", 260. 4th down and 4 from the 19-yard line of Michigan. Bashnagel motion to the left side. Cornelius Green fakes the give. He pitches beautifully to Archie Griffin. Breaks the tackle to the 19 to the 15 to the 11. What a tremendous play that time by Cornelius Green. Just as he was hit, he pitched to Griffin. He broke one tackle before Strinko and Dave Brown. But hauled him down, but he has an 8-yard gain. Ohio State, 1st and 10 at the Michigan 11.
Biggest play of the game thus far for Ohio State. to keep this drive alive. Now from the 11-yard line, can they push it over?
Archie limping just a little bit after that last carry. He was limping earlier, but what devastating quickness he has. Green gives to Griffin. To the right side. He runs into resistance. Rick Koshak has replaced Davis at the middle guard. They want to test Koshak in that spot. The junior from Toledo, 6'2", 205, helped out by linebacker Steve Strickle, makes the stop. The ball inside the Michigan 10-yard line. We are in the second quarter. Clock is running. A little more than 7 minutes remaining to play in the first half. Michigan with a 10-3 lead. Ohio State wanting to tie it up. They have it at the 9-yard line. It is second down and 8. High formation again. And Green to Griffin. Tries the off-tackle slant to the right side, and he gets a little bit of yardage to about the 7-yard line. Running into Jeff Perlinger, the 235-pound defensive tackle from Crystal, Minnesota. And Rick Koshak, the middle guard. Dan Gillick and Jeff Perlinger each came into this game with 74 tackles this year. Perlinger exceptionally quick. He has 13 times this year thrown runners for a loss to lead the Michigan defense in that department. Third down and 6 yards to go from the 7. Green fakes a give on the option. Look out! He is buried. He had no place to go. Greg Morton in there for Michigan, Perlinger in there, and also Dan Gillick. They surrounded him. Now Brian Bashnagel coming in along with the kicker Tom Claiborne. Claiborne has a 47-yard field goal. He is now going to apparently try one of 25 yards. Here's a snap. Bashnagel puts it down, and Claiborne's kick is good. With 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half, it is now Michigan 10, Ohio State 6.
La 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 la.
You've caught your kids searching through the closets for the third time today. The kitchen is beginning to groan under the weight of everything it takes to make your holiday dinner special. When you get downtown to shop is a question you'd just as soon not ask yourself. It's the time of year when feeling tired is feeling good. We know how it feels, too, because HFC is made up of all kinds of people. People who enjoy the holidays as much as you. That's why we'd like to remind you, if we can help out in any way, just let us know. Household Finance, an equal opportunity lender.
Well, let me tell you, there's been some vicious tackling and hard blocking by both of these fine football teams. We've got quite a football game on our hands. It's now Michigan 10, Ohio State 6. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left of the first half. A lot of action coming your way. Okay, Vince, here's the kickoff.
Tom Sledini to do the booting. Gil Chapman, the deep man here for Michigan. And we see just below us here at the Ohio State bench, doctors working on Archie Griffin's. Apparently it's his ankle. High kick. And Bell and Chapman are there. They downed it in the end zone. There was a mix-up there as Bell was just in front of him. And he kind of bumped or hit the shoulder at Chapman. But they wisely downed the ball in the end zone. Touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wolverines from their own 20.
Vince, Franklin's running has been lacking in this first half. And I believe it's due to the fact of his ankle.
Yeah.
Consequently, he's been feeding off to Bell and Heater and throwing the ball. He's only run the ball twice, which is not Franklin's way of calling plays. And all these plays are coming in now from the bench.
And he has 1 yard net. 2 carries. He turns and he gives to Bell. Bell trying to drive over right guard and tackle, and all he could do was dive into that line. There was no hole there whatsoever. Nick Buonamici and Bruce Elia, the linebacker, who made the interception. in this period. In on the stop. A gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Keith Johnson comes in for Michigan at split end, replacing Jim Smith from Eisenhower, Blue Island. Keith Johnson from Munster, Indiana, 6'3", 170, number 3 receiver on the team. 2nd down and 9. Franklin takes a snap, fakes the give, option to the left side, cuts in, and he is down to about the 27 or 28-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 2. Good move that time by Franklin. Brought down by linebacker Ken Kuhn.
That's his play, and that's the one that he maneuvers very fine, the option play. And both of these quarterbacks do that beautifully.
Yes,
Green
they do.
especially in timing and passing that ball or shoving the ball back to Griffin. And Franklin does the same with Bell.
Little less than 5 minutes remaining to play in the half. Michigan leading 10-6. 3rd down and 2 for the Wolverines in their own territory. Option again to the left. This time it is kept by Green, and he gets the first down, or by Franklin rather, and he gets the first down yardage. That's the one thing he wanted to make sure of that time. Fake the pitch at the last moment to Bell, then cut downfield is hit by Tim Fox, Jr. from Canton, Ohio, a journalism major here at Ohio State. 1st and 10 for Michigan. They convert again on that 3rd down situation. Each team has been guilty of a turnover. Michigan on a pass interception. Ohio State losing the ball at a fumble. Wide receivers to the right side. The ball at the 33 of Michigan. The pitch goes to Bell. He's going to the left side. Breaks a tackle at about the 35-yard line and is finally brought down by Bruce Elia and are near the 38. Good gain by Gordon Bell. Leading ball carrier for Michigan this year, 175-pound junior, who is going to be going over 1,000 yards. As a matter of fact, he has now gained over 1,000 yards this year. With that gain, he now has 68 yards gained in this first half on 13 carries. Here's the give this time to the fullback, Heater, and Heater, driving over left guard and tackle, runs into 250-pound Pete Kissick and 240-pound linebacker Arnie Jones. Brought down just shy of the 40-yard line of Michigan, I believe. Getting up very slowly that time for Michigan was tight end Greg Denboer. And George Brzezinski is coming into that Michigan huddle, replacing Denboer. It is 3rd down and 3. From near the 40-yard line of Michigan. Wolverines leading here in the first half, 10-6. Wing back, Chapman to the right side. Franklin steps back, he fakes the give, runs the option to the right, pitches to Bell, gets a block. Across the 40, fumbles the ball, it goes out of bounds for a gain all the way to the 48-yard line, right into the Ohio State bench. And the ball just squirted out of his hand.
Let me tell you, he gained 5 yards by tapping that ball. Looked like he was playing volleyball. But he was the last to have possession of the football, and it is Michigan State's ball, and it's a first down.
He couldn't do that deliberately, could he, Lou?
No, I don't believe so. I wouldn't accuse him of doing it.
It was beautiful. Popped out of there like it was a big, hard-boiled raw field egg. Or hard-boiled raw. What do you mean? Hard-boiled field egg. That's enough. Wing back to the left side. And Franklin this time gives to Bell. Reads it back beautifully to the right. Breaks a tackle at the 45-yard line of Ohio State and is finally brought down at the 40. He broke the tackle of Steve Luke, the cornerback, before Tim Fox could bring him down. Great running.
Well, you can see who the workhorse is on the Michigan ground attack. That's Bell. Ohio State with Griffin. Both of these individuals having a great day here.
Bell now with 87 yards gained on 15 carries in the first half. Griffin, 14 carries for Ohio State. 82 yards gained. They're the offense. But here is Franklin on the option play, rolling the left side. Finally, at the last moment, pitches to Bell. And Gordon has it near the 35-yard line of Ohio State. Brought down by Van Decree and Ken Thompson. Bruce and Ken Kuhn. Clock now showing 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining to play in the first half. It is going to be second down and 5 for Michigan at the Ohio State 36-yard line. Second down and 5. Michigan leading by 4 points, 10-6. Wide receiver. Smith comes out to the right side. Chapman the wingback to the right, and the give to the fullback Heater, and he drives straight ahead over left guard and tackle, and Heater finally swarmed upon by 2 or 3 of the Ohio State Buckeyes, including linebacker Bruce Elia and Ken Kuhn. WGN Radio Chicago, first in sound, first in service, and first in sports. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau with Jack Rosenberg, our sports editor. Dick Vinn, our spotter for Ohio State. And a renewal of the great classic and the gridiron between these two outstanding rivals. Third down and 1 for Michigan. Third and 1 from the 31 of Ohio State. Franklin spins all the way around, and the option pitch is high. Bill is hit, and he's lucky. He did not fumble the ball because he was hit hard by the pre-dental student Steve Luke and defensive end Jim Cope. No first down this time. They had a third and 1. It's now going to be fourth down and 3. Timeout is taken by Michigan with 1 minute 15 seconds remaining to play in the first half. Michigan leading 10-6. Your 46 Chicagoland Gallup Men of Olds have something new and exciting, and it just may be the different little car you've been looking for. The 1975 Olds Starfire, the sporty 4-seater Super Coupe with startling aerodynamic styling, bold side louvers, high-back bucket seats, 4 on the floor synchromesh, a gutsy but economical V6 engine, even a tack to keep track of what's going on under the hood. But Starflyer isn't all that's new at your Olds dealers. You'll find exciting new features on every 1975 Oldsmobile with gas-saving radial tires standard, and better mileage built into every model according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. On 88s, 98s, Toronados, Cutlasses, and Omegas, they all come with the friendliest trades and deals in town at your Chicagoland Gallup Men of Olds.
Michigan has the football with 1 minute and 15 seconds left to play. And the ball rests on Ohio State's 34-yard line. And Mike Lantry is in. And Lantry is placing the ball holder on the 41-yard line. This is a 51-yard kick, Vince.
That's going to be real tough. Tom Drake is the holder. Here's a snap. It's good. Here is the try for it, and it's going to be very short. Goes into the end zone for a touchback, and Ohio State will regain possession of the football. The Buckeyes trailing by 4 points. They'll have it first and 10 at their own 20-yard line with 1 minute and 11 seconds showing on the clock.
It acts as a punt with an opportunity that if Landry does hit it perfectly, Michigan would add 3 points. But it was just asking him a little too much. And rather than try a pass or a running play in that position of the field, why, Bo Schembechler elected to try the field goal, and if it missed, which it did, Ohio State will take possession on their own 20.
Oh, one oddity in this football game so far is the fact that there's only been 1 punt, and that one by Tom Scladini. And it was a good one of 45 yards. Took a good bounce point. That's the only punt by either team in this first half with 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining to play. Now, Ohio State still has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. The Buckeyes, with those 3 timeouts and 1 minute 11 seconds showing on the clock, actually do have time to get down there in field goal range. And a field goal would bring them to within 1 point, if that's the route that Ohio State's Woody Hayes wants to go. Tom Clagan has booted 2 field goals here so far today. one of 47 yards with the wind, one of 25 yards, and he will have the wind with him if it should come down to that before time expires in the first half. Now we're set to go. Steve Myers, the senior center. With that ball behind him is Cornelius Green, his excellent quarterback. I formation. Green rolling to the left side. He's going to carry himself to the 20, to the 21, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock after a short gain of about 2 yards. It'll be second down and 8 from the 22-yard line. And the clock shows 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining to play in the half. It was Don Dufek, benchman, who took him out that time. Woody Hayes, surrounded by some of his assistants on the sidelines just below us here in the sparkling sunshine. What a beautiful day, and what a tremendous game. Ohio State with the ball, second and 8. Green steps back, fakes the pass, cuts to the left side, wants to read it back in the middle, picks up a few yards out to about the 26-yard line. Brought down by Greg Morton, the defensive tackle, and Dan Gillick. Well, Green now has carried 10 times, and he has only 12 yards rushing in 10 carries. Archie Griffin.
Ohio State called a timeout. They were going to go without a huddle, Vince, with only 45 seconds left, but then a timeout was called to get themselves set up. One of their men was not in the correct position that Green wanted him. So Hayes now will decide as to what to do with third down and 3. He has the wind at his back. The score, Michigan 10, Ohio State 6. And when you have two runners such as Griffin with Ohio State and Bell with Michigan, they can break the game wide open on any given play or put you in field position, as Vince mentioned, for a field goal with two excellent field goal kickers here on both of these squads.
Although he's got a third and 3 here, now Archie, who had some treatment given to him while the Ohio State defense was out on the field, has been in that backfield here. But he has not had the ball given to him on the first 2 plays in this series of downs. Let's see if they might go to him this time. They brought in the big tight end, this 260-pounder, Doug France. Where's number 80? Now we're set to go. Third down and 3, and Green this time gives it to Griffin, trying the right side. He breaks one tackle, and he's across the 30 for the first and 10 to about the 31-yard line. Well, faced with third and 3, they convert. Clock shows 39 seconds in running. Now 36. They line up quickly. Green fakes the pass, cuts back to the right side. He's got some ground, but he is hauled down from behind as he was waiting for blockers to line up, and he immediately calls timeout to stop the clock with 26 seconds left here in the half. And hauling him down that time was Jeff Perlinger, the 235-pound tackle.
We have another timeout on the field. Ohio State using all of their timeouts now. They have one more left with 26 seconds to go in the half. Michigan State leads Iowa at the end of the first quarter. Michigan State 10, Iowa 7. Right here, it's Michigan 10, Ohio State 6. Ohio State now with a football on their own 41-yard line. Clemson leads Southern Carolina 12-7 at the end, or South Carolina at the end of the first period. Michigan, of course, setting up now for that pass, and consequently Green has wheeled out of his position to fake that pass and has kept the football as Michigan is sending an extra man back into their secondary. So Ohio State with 26 seconds left in this first half with possession on their own 41-yard line. Okay, Vince.
He has the split end Dave Hazel to the wide side, the left side of the field. When he just drops back, rolls to the left side, pumps his arm, fakes it, and he is brought down from behind on a good stop that time by number 56, who's back in there, Tim Davis. He had missed some action in this half because of an injury, but he got a very strong arm around Cornelius Green and brought him down. Clock now shows 19 seconds up to play. Buckeyes line up without a huddle. Green drops back to the 40, looks to the left, looks to the right, fires. Hazel open at the 35 to the 30. Hazel brought down within field goal range at the 26-yard line by Calvin Neal. Hazel was wide open. That time Green dropped straight back, faked to the left side with the arm, then went to the right. Hazel had gone down and out. He was wide open.
And let me tell you something, Vince. With 10 seconds left on the clock, Hayes sends in a play and not his field goal kicker. So he is going to try to score with one more play within 10 seconds. And then hopefully, if Ohio State does not score the touchdown, we'll bring in his field goal kicker, Clavin.
He has 246-pound fullback, Pete Johnson, in there, with Archie Griffin behind him, and again to Griffin. Griffin is brought down, and immediately Ohio State calls timeout. And they still have 6 seconds showing on the clock here in the first half. The ball is being spotted at the 26-yard line. So this would be about a 43-yard attempt. And Bashnagel will be the holder for Tom Clavin, the junior from Cincinnati, who has already kicked 2 field goals today and has 6 out of 8 attempts on field goals this year. The clock has been stopped by the last timeout that Ohio State has. On that call to Archie Griffin, they just wanted to get as good position on the field as they could, take no chances whatsoever. And Archie still limping a little bit as he is over on the sidelines just below us here. He's actually getting ready to move into the Ohio State dressing room, and he is on his way down there now. When they have the try for the field goal, Archie, I'm sure, will be looking back over his shoulder to see whether or not it is successful. Clavin has the foot. He has a kind of a pendulum-like swing to that leg of his. Be about a 43-yard attempt. Here's a snap. It is up. It is good. The crowd roars its approval with 2 seconds showing on the clock in the first half. Ohio State with 3 field goals has closed the gap. It is now Michigan 10, the Buckeyes 9.
Michigan had 10 men up on that line trying to sneak somebody through there to block that kick. But this Clavin really puts his foot into that football and gets plenty of height in it. As a soccer type kicker, usually it's a line drive for the first 5 or 6 yards and then gets up in the air. But Clavin's kick really gets up in that football, and it is carrying now that one for 33 yards. It's 10-9, 2 seconds left in the first half. So I would have to say, Vince, that Clavin is putting a foot back into the football game for Ohio State.
And it is not going to be Tom Skladany kicking off this time. It will be Tom Clavin. And let's see if he'll try for the squib kick, or if he'll try to get one very high in the air. He's teed it up on the just inside the hash mark on the far side of the field. Comes forward and he drives one. It is taken by Chapman at the 8-yard line to the 15 to the 20. Chapman is hit and brought down, and that'll be the end of the first half with the score. Michigan 10, Ohio State 9. And this afternoon's broadcast is being brought to you by Household Finance, the company that says never borrow money needlessly. But when you need to borrow, you'll get more than just money from HFC. The Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers, those gallant men of old, to invite you to see the all-new 75. But if you don't see Oldsmobile for 75, you'll never know what you're missing. And by the G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country.
As its name implies, Old Style is brewed the traditional Old World way by a process called kreuzening in a place called God's Country. God's Country, where the sparkling, pure spring water stretches deep underground to a beautiful valley. Some folks say all the way from Canada. With water like this, when you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. Heileman's Old Style is the only premium beer in America today that is fully kreuzened. This pure brewing, double brewing process is the most natural way to brew beer and the most expensive. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's Country.
Boudreau back at halftime on a great football game between these two fine universities. And I'll be talking to my halftime guest, Mr. Wayne Duke, Big Ten Commissioner, and we are hopeful that Jeff Elliott of the Big Ten office, the Service Bureau, will drop in and have a chat with us, along with Roy Damer of the Chicago Tribune. The halftime show is brought to you by the makers of the Alkaline Power Cell. Come to the top with their best, longest lasting power source for radios, cameras, and cassettes.
And the two key men rushing, of course, Archie Griffin is expected for Ohio State, and Gordon Bell, the tailback for Michigan. Griffin, officially in the first half, carried the ball 16 times, netted a total of 89 yards, and he has surpassed his own Big Ten rushing record in a season, 20 yards over it now. His longest gain, 18 yards. Gordon Bell carried 17 times for Michigan, 92 yards. His longest gain was 14. And Bell now for the year has gone over the 1,000-yard mark in rushing. Tom Skladini, a sophomore from Menlo Park, Pennsylvania, teeing the ball up on the hash mark on this near side of the field. And the wind might be a factor in this last quarter, and Michigan will have the wind at its back in the final period. Dennis Franklin, successful on one pass for a touchdown. Out of 4 attempts, another one was picked off, intercepted by Bruce Elia. That pass to Gil Chapman, who broke a tackle as he took that ball at about the 20 and went in for a 42-yard touchdown, the only touchdown by either team so far. There has been one penalty, and that was an interference call. So actually, neither team has made the big mistake of being offside, defected holding, or any of those things that you normally expect in this kind of a heated-up game. Bell, the deep man, and here's Skladini's good, and it's going way, way out of the end zone. Well, the one that might have returned that one to be one of those pretty little cheerleaders.
Yes, and I'll tackle her, too, if she grabs that football. If Rosenberg don't hold me.
It's been a magnificent first half. Dennis Franklin has his running backs, Chuck Heater, the fullback, the up man in the eye, Gordon Bell, who has played the entire game at tailback, Gil Chapman, the wingback, is Jim Smith, Steve King, Kirk Lewis, Dennis Franks, Dave Metz, Pat Tumpane, who's from Midlothian's Mount Carmel, number 64 senior, 240 at tackle, and Greg Denbar. They give go to Bell, and Bell finds a bit of an opening between left guard and tackle and picks up about 4 tough yards. From Troy, Ohio, and he's brought down by the outstanding linebackers Arnie Jones and Bruce Elia. There has been a fall-off in the linebacking corps at Ohio State from last year, but that's to be expected. All 3 of their linebackers were drafted into the professional ranks, and 2 of them went high. Smith comes out as a split end to the right side, and Chapman is a wingback to the right. Tight end Denbauer to the left. It is 2nd down and 7, a gain of 3 on that play. Long 3, actually. Pitch out to Bell. Tries the left side, cuts back into the middle, and he's across the 25 to maybe the 28-yard line. Runs into Van de Cree and Bruce Elia. The defensive end and linebacker on that side. It's going to be 3rd down and about 2 yards to go from the 28-yard line of Michigan. Wolverines leading by 1 point. 3 field goals by Ohio State. 1 field goal and a touchdown by Michigan in the first half. Lantry a 37-yard field goal, and he missed a 51-yard try into the wind. Laban, 3 field goals, 47, 25, and 43 yards. Wide receiver to the right side. Give to Eve. Fakes the give. Pitches to Bell. Tries the right end. He is not going to get it. Beautiful defensive play by Ohio State. And a fumble by Gordon Bell, but after the whistle. They swarmed on him. Van de Cree was there. Jim Cope was there. Elia was there. Arnie Jones was there. And this Ohio State football team is really aroused. This is going to be the first punt by Michigan today. Johnny Anderson, a freshman from Waukesha, Wisconsin, has averaged 38.4 yards a kick, and he is booting into the wind. Jeff Logan is back to receive. They try to rush. They fail to block it. The kick being picked up at the 43-yard line. Over to the 45, to the 50. Brian Bashnagel gives Ohio State possession in Michigan territory at the Wolverines. 48 or 49-yard line. He was stopped finally by Steve King from Tiffin, Ohio. A short kick into the wind of 31 yards, and Bashnagel a 10-yard return. And this crowd now is really alive. Tailback is Archie Griffin. The fullback is now Harold Champ Henson. Nope, it is Pete Johnson. Green gives to Griffin, and Archie has a play coming to the left side, reads it back to the right, and he gets short yardage for maybe a yard or two before he runs into Jeff Perlinger. The ball placed down just at the 47-yard line of Michigan. Tight end Hazel to the right side. Bashnagel, the wing back to the right side, comes in motion to the left. Benitez screen, long cap, turns, gives to the tailback. Griffin hit at the 45-yard line of Michigan. Maybe drove across the 45 to the 44. Hit hard by linebacker Kyle Russ, the senior, 220. And a walk-on at Michigan. And Steve Strinko, also a senior. Six starters for Michigan defensively are seniors, 4 of them in the secondary. It is now 3rd down and 6 for Ohio State. Bashnagel motion to the left. Green fakes the give, steps back. Throws to the right. He's got room. Runs for the first down. Gets out of bounds at the 33-yard line as he went back to pass and saw that Michigan defense had gone back on that far side of the field. Spotted the opening and alertly, with those quick feet of his, scampers for first down yardage and then some 11-yard gain.
He took advantage of the left end, Gillick, coming inside, and with one sweep of his hips, he went to the outside to pick up a big first down for State.
He's an excellent open field runner. 1st and 10 at the Michigan 33-yard line. Green gives this time to the big fullback. And Pete Johnson, 246-pounder, is hit hard for no gain. Middle guard, Tim Davis, 210. First man to beat him defensively for Michigan, helped by Jeff Perlinger. Johnson, at the outset of the season, came in at 250. He is from Long Beach, New York, at average 4.4 yards a carry coming into this game. scored 3 touchdowns in the Rose Bowl for Ohio State on New Year's Day. Green rolling back out the left side. A diving attempt made by Bashnagel for the pass at the 26-yard line, right in front of the sideline. Could not get his hands on it. Pretty good coverage there by Tommy Drake and by Don Dufek. Incomplete forward pass. In the first half, Ohio State, Cornelius Green hit on 2 out of 3. So now he is 2 for 4 for the day. That is not much passing. Only 8 passes thrown so far, 4 by each team. Hazel split into the left side. Chapman lines up as a wingback to the left side. Third down and 10. And Green with pressure on, and he carries, and he gets across the 30 before Kyle Russ brings him down inside the Michigan 30-yard line to the Wolverines' 28, we'll call it, and they're going to try a field goal that would put them ahead. And Tom Claiborne has the wind at his back. He has already booted 1 of 47, 1 of 25, 1 of 43, and now he is going to try one that will be a 45-yard attempt. Here's a snap. And the boot. It has a distance. It is good. A 47-yard kick from Claiborne. With Brian Bashnagel holding, gives Ohio State the lead for the first time today, 12-10.
Remember back in the days when some of Chicago's biggest football trades happened right on your schoolyard steps? You could kind of tell who was going to grow up to be a gallant man of all. Especially if he had a football card you really wanted.
Wow, Bronco Nagurski. Want to trade? What do you got?
He was the kind of guy who could make a trade and a friend at the same time.
You got a deal, Eddie. Wow, that's great.
Your gallant man of old. He's still the same guy, giving folks great trades for all the 1975 Oldsmobiles, like those luxurious 88s, 98s, and Toronados. Full-size comfort and safety, along with important new economies. With better gas mileage, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Gas-saving radial tires, standard. And a lot more in trade for your present car than you might think it's worth. So come on in and see your Chicagoland gallant man of olds.
Well, it's been all Tom Claiborne thus far for Ohio State. He has scored 12 points. Michigan has 10 on the scoreboard. And you cannot fault Michigan's defense. They're bending, but they just cannot stop Claiborne from kicking the field goals. 4 field goals here has given Ohio State the lead. Here's the kickoff in.
Tom Squirtini comes forward and he boots another one. It's going out of the end zone again. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Michigan from their 20. Tom Squirtini with a tremendous boot. Or Tom Claiborne, rather.
Now the crowd hollering defense.
Yeah. Well, they showed a great defense as Michigan took the opening kickoff of the second half. Could not gain with it and had to punt for the first time in this football game. Jimmy Smith split in, comes out to the right side. Gil Chapman, the wingback, to the right. Dennis Franklin, the quarterback, dropping back. He wants to put it in the air. Now he has to run. He's to the 25. He is hit at the 28-yard line and brought down. That's Bruce Elia, who made the stop on him as Franklin saw his receivers well covered. But he picks up 8 yards, 2nd down and 2.
And after Elia hit him on the tackle, he helps him up. We have an Ohio State man injured, Vince.
It's Arnie Jones.
So let me give this score that just came in. At the end of the first period of play, it's Wisconsin 7, Minnesota 7. Franklin picked up 8 yards, let's say, on that maneuver, although there was an indication that Michigan may have to go to the air
Yep.
to get on the board because
Franklin... open up that defense, Lou.
That's what they're trying to do. And since we mentioned the adjustment made by the defensive linemen for Ohio State, where they have spread out to the same extent that Michigan has, they've stopped the so-called inside running game and hoping to keep Bell contained. But now we're going to have a second down with 2 yards to go, with Michigan having possession. And now Franklin, taking advantage of this timeout, injury timeout, went over to talk to Bo Schembechler, and the officials now have him back in the huddle, and we're all set to go.
Arnie Jones went limping off. He's a senior linebacker. Replacing him is a freshman, Aaron Brown. He's from Warren, Ohio. 6'2", 222. They may test him right off the bat. Heater, the ball carrier, and he gets the first down yardage, and barely, as he's hit by Pete Cusick as he tried to ram over the left side. But Heater makes it 1st and 10 for Michigan at the 31-yard line of the Wolverines, who are trailing 12-10 here in the third quarter. 9.5 minutes remaining to play in this period. Keith Johnson coming in off the far side, the Michigan bench, as a split end, and he is replacing George Brzezowski. Actually, Johnson is staying in as he is split to the left side, and Smith split to the wide right side. Chapman in the slot, and the give goes to Heater. A counter play back to the left, and Heater picks up maybe 3 yards before being stopped by Pete Cusick.
Well, here's the spot now in this field position on their own 33-yard line, and it's second down and about 7.5 yards to go. We may see Franklin put that ball in the air.
And Lou, field goal by Claiborne is the first time this year that the opposition has scored against Michigan in the third quarter. On the option, Dennis Franklin keeps, and he is brought down by Pete Cusick, who he may have fumbled and recovered it himself as he was hit hard by Cusick. Great penetration by the defensive tackle. And getting up very, very slowly, Keith Johnson, who went down the block, and I think he is seeing a few stars. He was dazed down there. Junior, 170-pounder. Started to get up to his knees, fell back on the seat of his pants.
This is an injury timeout, of course, for Keith, who is being given some first aid. So with this timeout, and the score is Michigan 10, Ohio State 12.
God's country and Kreuznach. They make old style unique among beers. God's country, where the water flows sparkling pure from springs deep beneath the floor of a beautiful valley, some say all the way from Canada. Old style uses this water in a traditional old world brewing process called Kreuznach, which means old style is pure brewed, double brewed. When you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. Heileman's Old Style is the only premium beer in America today that is fully kreuzned. The most natural way to brew beer, and the most expensive. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country.
G. Heileman Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Is in, third down and 8. Franklin dropping straight back. Nobody is open. He tries to run up the middle, and he gets it just to about the 33-yard line. Nick Buonamici and Van Decree stop him, and Michigan is forced to punt for the second time in this half.
Well, we've given Michigan a lot of credit defensively But let me tell you, that Ohio State defense deserves a lot of credit. Secondary covered very well. Nobody was open, and Franklin, of course, had to eat that football. Once again, Anderson in to punt.
Jeff Logan at deep end along with Bashnagel. Bashnagel is up short. Here's the boot, and he gets a high one. The wind is holding it up. Fair catch called for at the 30. Ball fumbled momentarily by Logan, who immediately pounces on his own fumble. He's a freshman from North Canton, Ohio. There's a 37-yard kick into the wind, that time by John Anderson, the freshman from Waukesha, Wisconsin. Kirk Lewis down there in good coverage. 1st and 10 for Ohio State. Buckeyes have Pete Johnson in there at fullback. Cornelius Green quarterbacking. Tailback Archie Griffin. Brian Bashnagel, the wingback. They're at their own 30-yard line. They lead by 2 points here in the third quarter, 12-10. Green to Griffin. Griffin brought down by Jeff Perlinger. And a good tackle, and he could not break. Perlinger's tackle that time. Also in there, Greg Morton. Hard hitting, to say the least. I see now that Larry Banks, the defensive end, has gone over to the sideline, and he is replaced by the junior from Akron, Ohio, Mike Holmes, who was a Wolfman last year for Michigan defensively. It is second down at about 8. Green on the reverse. Beautiful opening by Bashnagel, and Bashnagel's quick feet brings him across the 45-yard line. A tremendous play that time on the reverse.
They had Michigan's defense moving to the right, and when he used the reverse, there was a hole as open there for a truck to drive through. 16-yard gain.
His first carry of the day, and only the 31st this year for Bashnagel. Kyle Russ making the stop. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line of Ohio State. Buckeyes on the move. The fake give into the midsection of the fullback, and Cornelius Green carrying to the left side, gets it across the 50 into Michigan territory to the 49-yard line. Stopped by Mike Holmes and by middle guard Tim Davis. Coming into the huddle for Ohio State, Mike Bartosik, a senior. Oh, it is Leonard Willis coming in as a potential receiver, perhaps the fastest man on the team. But the give goes to the fullback. Fumbles the ball. Michigan recovers. At the 45-yard line of the Wolverines, the recovery is the fullback fumbles. Tim Davis, the middle guard, the hero on that play, and the Wolverines have possession, 1st and 10.
But credit Don Dufek with the tackle, a vicious tackle that knocked the ball loose, and Davis was like a cat jumping right on it. A break for Michigan.
And both our juniors, both will be back for Bo Schembechler and the Wolverines next year. The center, Dennis Franks, a senior, brings Michigan up to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line. They trail by 2 points in the third period. Gives the heater, and what a jolt he takes. He is hit by freshman Aaron Brown right at the line of scrimmage. A tremendous tackle by this 222-pound freshman.
What a play. He jumped just as that ball was snapped.
What penetration. He has replaced the senior, Arnie Jones, who was injured. Kirk Lewis goes out for Michigan offensively. Jim Armour from Detroit, a senior, 230, replaces him. He's number 58. Playing at left guard. Second down, long yardage. Franklin fires a pass and a diving catch at the 42-yard line or 41-yard line of Ohio State. And there's a good catch by Jim Smith. His 20th reception of the year. Michigan man has been shaken up on that 12-yard gain to the sophomore from Eisenhower, Blue Island. Who's that, Lou?
Steve King, Vince. It might be a knee injury. King from Tiffin, Ohio. He's been given some first aid now. And that was the first pass thrown by Franklin, even though he attempted two others, but his receiver was covered. This time, Smith made a great catch as the ball was thrown a little low. But nevertheless, he made the catch, and it's the first down for Michigan on Ohio State's 42-yard line.
Looks like King will be replaced by a sophomore from Ypsilanti, Michigan, number 70, Jim Hall. And he has gotten his full growth. Hall, 6'4", 230. An indication of the hard hitting, clean hitting, but exceptionally hard, and the number of fellows who have been shaken up by both teams already in this third quarter. We have 4 minutes, 50 seconds left to play in the third period. Ohio State is leading 12-10, but Michigan, after the Ohio State fumble, has the ball in Ohio State territory following a 12-yard pass to Jimmy Smith. They have it 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of Ohio State. Their first touchdown and only touchdown so far came from the 42-yard line on a pass to Gil Chapman, a senior from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Hauled it in on about the 20-yard line, broke a tackle and went in from 42 yards out, his third touchdown pass reception this year. All right, they have taken the injured Steve King off the field. Chuck Heater still in at fullback. Gordon Bell, the tailback. Chapman, the wingback. And they split the ends. The Chapman splits to the left side, and Smith is wide to the right side. On the option, rolling, coming out right side, pitches to Bell. He is hit, and hit hard by Doug Plank.
Well, actually, Bell was quicker than his interference. Chuck Heater was out and missed his block, and that enabled the defensive end and secondary to come in and hit Bell for a loss.
Jim Armour had pulled out to try to block, but he never got anywhere near the ball carrier. The ball back at the 45-yard line. Second down, 13. From the 45 of Ohio State, Michigan trying to move. Franklin drops back. He looks, fires. It is incomplete. The ball thrown into the carpet at the 35-yard line. The intended receiver was Smith, who was working against Neil Colsey. Had that pass been up at all, he would have been able to come back for the reception. I don't know, Lou, whether Franklin's leg slipped out from under him or what.
No, I think the defensive charge of that Ohio State line made him release the ball much quicker than he had hoped to.
That charge led by Pete Cousy. Vince Lloyd, Lou Boudreau here with you at Ohio Stadium, campus of the Ohio State University. And what a tremendous football game we're seeing. 3rd and 13, and a gift to Bell. Bell hit by a linebacker as he got to the 40-yard line. Bruce Elia coming over, and he really put a tremendous tackle on Gordon Bell.
Vince, the difference in the second half thus far has been the third down situations. Now, in the first half, Michigan made 6 out of 8 attempts. Now some adjustments have been made defensively, and now in this third period, they've had 3 third down situations and has failed on 3 attempts.
And Bell in this half, 5 carries for only 8 yards. The third punt of the half by Michigan's Johnny Anderson. A high punt. It takes a lateral bounce along the 6-yard line of Ohio State. They did not want to fool around with that one and take a chance on a fumble, and it actually just skidded laterally. They'll place it, I believe, at the 7-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Pete Johnson, a sophomore, has been running at the fullback spot all day today. Dave Devitt, the man who's down there from Highland, Indiana, that was a 33-yard punt. And Ohio State will start this drive from its own 7-yard line. This is WGN Radio Chicago and our Big Ten game of the weekend. What a game it is. Buckeyes lead 12-10. He fakes a give, he keeps, and he is in as that Michigan defense responds to that challenge.
A blitz. Vince certainly stopped Green on that attempt.
He is actually thrown for a loss back to the 5-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down and 12. And if Michigan can force a punt from Ohio State from this position, it would give Michigan, of course, excellent field position. Leonard Willis, a junior who was All-American in junior college in Nebraska last year, has come in with a play. They send him out as a wide receiver to the left side. Dropping back, Cornelius Green steps up, fires a long pass for Bashnagel. He attempts a diving catch, can't get it. Bashnagel is saying he was interfered with. But the official who was right on top of it was not by it. Don Dufek was trying to match Bashnagel stride for stride as he ran that long fly pattern.
Very close, I would have to say, Vince, because Dufek was really on the back of that intended receiver.
He sure was.
Now, whether he made contact or not, we don't know, and we have another injured Michigan player back on the 5-yard line.
Looks like an offensive tackle, but I cannot see his number down there. Greg Morton. Defensive tackle, I'm sorry, number 77.
He's been playing.
He sure has. He's a big junior. Came into this game with 75 tackles for the year. This Michigan defense has caused the opposition coming into this game to fumble 21 times, and the Wolverines' enemies have lost the ball as a result of fumbles 10 times, and there has been a fumble here today by Pete Johnson of Ohio State. And by Cornelius Green. John Hennessy, a sophomore from Chicago's Gordon Tech, comes in to replace Greg Morton. Hennessy, 6'4", 235.
Vince, this is the second Michigan man that has to leave the ball game due to an ankle or a knee or a leg injury.
It's his left leg, isn't it?
Yes. They're putting the strain on the left leg.
This has been a tremendously hard-hitting game, but strangely enough, there have been no real penalties. There was one for interference in the first half, but there have been no holding penalties. There have been no roughness penalties. That's Greg Morton now, who is walking off pretty much under his own power, but limping that left leg. And our WGN neighbor, Gordon Tech High, has a representative of their football team on there right now, John Hennessy. Here's a big play, 3rd down and 12 from the 5-yard line. 3rd and 12. And the give goes to Griffin, and he is not going to make it. He got out to about the original line of scrimmage, around the 7-yard line, hit there and driven back. But his forward progress brought him out to about the 7 or 8, and Tom Skladini, the nation's finest collegiate punter this year, is coming in to see if he can send one soaring with the wind behind him. Tommy Drake, Dave Brown are back as receivers for this punt. They are standing at about the 50-yard line. Skladini will boot this one from his own end zone. Here's a snap. He gets the kick away. Michigan trying for what a beautiful punt. All the way back to the 35-yard line. It is Brown running laterally, slow down at the 35 and driven out of bounds in front of the Ohio State bench. And I saw somebody swing an elbow down there, but I see no flag. Jim Bolden, sophomore from Akron, Ohio, was a little upset. Well, all Spadini did that time was send a 60-6-0 punt with a 3-yard return.
And that could be the ball game for Ohio State if their defense continues to play as it has, with only 1 minute and 29 seconds left in the third period.
And what a coverage.
What a punt.
Coverage there by Ohio. That's what you call great hang time. All right, Michigan trailing 12-10, a minute 29 left in the third quarter. They're starting from their own 36-yard line. And a man jumped offside. I believe it was Aaron Brown who had lined up from his middle linebacker spot as a nose man. And he tried to anticipate the count, got across the line of scrimmage too quickly, could not get back in time. Running play with Hayter carrying, picked up nothing, and I'm sure Michigan is going to take the 5-yard walk-off. The freshman Aaron Brown, guilty of that one. So it's going to be first down and 5 for Michigan, and this is the first penalty of this nature we have had today. What a punt that was, Lou, but that's Cladini, a sophomore.
And under severe pressure because Michigan was going to try to block that punt. He got it away beautifully.
All right, we're ready to go. First and 5 from the 41-yard line of Michigan. Smith lines up wide to the left side. The give goes to Bell on a slant over his own left tackle. Picks up 2 or 3 yards. That's all. Van de Cree, Pete Cusick, all in there helping to bust it up. And also coming up very, very quickly is Doug Plank, the meteorologist and a senior, North Irwin, Pennsylvania. Yeah, he wants to get into the field of meteorology, Mr. Plank does. Some hard hitting in that line, let me tell you. One of the fellows who did a job there helping to keep that play going nowhere was Pete Cusick, number 71. It is second down and 4. Pickup of a yard on that one. Second and 4. Here's a reverse to Chapman, and he is hit by Ken Kuhn. They try the reverse to Chapman, going to the left side, and Mr. Kuhn, a junior from Louisville, Kentucky, was right there to nail him in his tracks. It is now third down and 3. Despite the 5-yard gain on the penalty, Michigan has only been able to now pick up 2 yards on the last 2 plays, and the clock is showing 10 seconds left in the third period. Let's see if they get another play off. 5 seconds left. They're coming up to the line of scrimmage. I don't think they're going to get this play away. There's the end of the third quarter. Ohio State 12 and Michigan 10.
La 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 la.
Depending upon where you live, you look forward to different things during the holidays. In one part of the country, it's the picture postcard brightness of country towns, wreathed in the clear white of winter. In other areas, it could be the sun shining down. Warm is the feeling that glows within us all at this time of year. At HFC, we'd like to take this opportunity to wish you the best for the season and the best for the new year. And also to remind you that if we can be of service to you during the holidays, please come in and see us at Household Finance, an equal opportunity lender.
What a last period we're going to see. Anything can happen. Both defensive teams and units have been great in the third period, and only the fourth field goal by Tom Clavin today has put Ohio State into the lead. But right now, Michigan with that football on their own 43-yard line with third and 3. They have fine field position, but there's been some very, very hard-hitting blocking and tackling on that football field.
Amen.
So we have 15 more great minutes of football, and one of the finest contests, I believe, that we've seen in many years, Vince.
Oh, Lou, this has been absolutely superb. The 8 seniors in this Ohio State starting defensive team today. 3 of the 4 front men of the line are seniors, 3 in the secondary, and 2 linebackers. But let me tell you, Ken Kuhn, who wears number 54, is a junior, and he has done an outstanding job. And right now you have in there also a freshman, Aaron Brown. He has been moving up on the line of scrimmage. He is listed officially as a middle linebacker. He has replaced Artie Jones, who was injured early in this second half. And Bruce Elia, senior, former fullback. Van de Cree, Bonamici, Kusick, Cope up front, Neil Colsey, Steve Luke, Doug Plank, Tim Fox. That's the defensive lineup for Ohio State. And Michigan in trouble. Here is a fake give and the rollout right side. He is running into opposition. He may have gotten the first and 10. I believe he did. A good run that time by Dennis Franklin. He was hemmed in by Colsey, by Van de Cree, and by Aaron Brown.
And Vince, excuse me, according to my statistics, that is only the second first down for Michigan as we start the 4th period.
That is an official one, Lou. That is absolutely right. Franklin now with only 23 yards total for the day. Here's a give this time, and it goes to Heater, the fullback. Tries between right guard and tackle. And Chuck Heater down at about the 50-yard line by Pete Kusick. Never underestimate the importance of him and Jim Cope, who's the defensive player alongside him on the outside. And we've got timeout taken by Ohio State because Nick Bonamici, defensive tackle, was shaken up. The score, Ohio State 12 and Michigan 10.
He waved a timeout pretty quick.
He did that.
Yeah, I think they called a timeout.
Remember those old orange crate scooters? And the kid who could fix them better than anyone?
Don't worry, I'll fix it.
Remember those 2-cent lemonade stands? And the kid who understood if all you had was 1 cent?
Is that enough? Well, sure.
Remember trading football cards? And the kid who gave you a better deal than you expected?
You got a trade, Eddie. Wow, that's great.
That's the kind of guy who grew up to be a Chicagoland gallant man of old. Today, he's giving great trades, deals, and service on the 1975 Oldsmobiles, with better fuel economy on every model, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. On luxurious 88s, 98s, and Coronados, mid-sized Cutlasses, thrifty little Omegas, and the sporty new Starfire, all with bold new styling and exciting new features. So come on in and see him at your Chicagoland gallant men of olds.
We have a halftime score here. Illinois 21, Northwestern nothing at half.
Another freshman in defensively for Ohio State, number 66, Tyrone Harris, right here from Columbus, replacing Kusick, the senior, or Bonamici, rather, the sophomore. He weighs 242. And here is a spill by Aaron Brown on Gordon Bell. Hit him almost immediately. Bruce Elia also in there, number 36. And what a tremendous Buckeye defense we're seeing.
What a charge by Brown. He's very quick coming off of that ball.
He got by Run Blocker immediately.
And of course, with 3rd down and about 6, Michigan will have to put the ball in the air. They're going to have to throw more to open up that defense.
Ball is right at the 50-yard line. 3rd down, and that's a 7 from the 50. Franklin drops back. He looks in the air. He fires. Look out. It may be intercepted. It is intercepted by Neil Colsey. At the 39-yard line, he took that ball away from the intended Michigan receiver. And that for Mr. Colsey, who came out of the hospital to play in this game, is his 6th interception this year. He leads us football team in that department, and that may be the game-breaking play.
That certainly has aroused this crowd, and it certainly should arouse that Ohio State football team.
Well, did Ohio State, they have it just inches away from their own 40. Here's the give to Griffin. Accelerates as he gets to the line of scrimmage. Flags on the play. Griffin got the ball out to about the 45. Holding indicated. Against Ohio State. And Michigan, I'm sure, will take that penalty.
Boy, that Griffin moves quickly through that hole. He makes himself a hole.
It looks like he's walking when he gets up to the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden, he's in high gear.
He burst through a spot that I know that you can't make. I don't know about me. But he can really move. I think both he and Bell will reach the 100-yard mark today.
All right, the holding penalty puts the ball back to the 27-yard line. It's first down and 24. Willis is in there as a wide receiver. Bashnagel lines up wingback left side. They give on the fullback draw to Pete Johnson. Cracks between right guard and tackle. Gets it out to the 30-yard line. And Woody Hayes may feel now that his defense has been so solid that he does not have to gamble to go for any more points on the board. Jim Davis, the middle guard, made the stop for Michigan. And Woody firmly believes that any kind of a victory, 1 point, whatever it is, will be enough to send his Buckeyes to the Rose Bowl. Dave Hazel split in, goes wide to the left side. Bashnagel in the slot to the left side. Second down at 20. And the give goes to Griffin. Tries to read it to the right side. He breaks a tackle. Now he is hit at the 32-yard line and driven back. But somehow he managed to break the tackle, I believe, of Steve Strinko, who normally is extremely sure-handed and strong arm. Archie Griffin now has gone to the 100 mark with 21 carries today, and for the first time, senior Harold Champ Hansen comes into the Ohio State backfield today. He has been their starting fullback, but Johnson has played there up until now. Hansen, 231. Roll out left side. And Cornelius Green cuts back to the right. Gets to about the 35-yard line. There he runs in to Greg Morton, to Tim Davis, and he is stopped at the 35. It is going to be a punting situation for Ohio. They face fourth down and 35, or 14 from their 35, and they now have to punt into the wind here to the open end of this Horseshoe Bowl. Tom Scladini, who got a 60-yard punt off from his own end zone with the wind. Now Booty gets it away from his 25. A beautiful high kick, carrying to the 12-yard line, the 11th. Dave Brown running laterally for Michigan. He is going to go nowhere. He is brought down by Ray Griffin. What a tremendous punt into the wind. 54 yards with a 3-yard return.
Great coverage by the defensive unit, too. And now there's a timeout on the field with the score, Ohio State 12, Michigan 10.
Two things make Old Style, the beer from God's country, really exceptional. Pure brewing water and a unique brewing process called poisoning. The water is crystal clear and flows from springs deep beneath the floor of a beautiful valley, some folks say all the way from Canada. With water like this, when you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. Poisoning is the traditional old world way to brew beer. It means Heileman's Old Style is pure brewed, double brewed. The most natural way to brew beer, and the most expensive. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country.
right, Vince. Here's the action.
All right, here, and Artie Jones has come back in there, and he's playing a tackle spot, and a give goes to Heater, the fullback, trying a slant off his own right tackle, and he gets out to perhaps the 15 or 16-yard line before running into veteran Pete Cusick. Oh, what punting by that Sladany today. 3 punts, and averaging 52 yards a punt. It's a sophomore. Ohio State's defense has really taken over here. Now let's see whether or not Michigan can crack it. They trail. Buckeyes 12, Michigan 10. Second down and 6. Little flare pass to Chapman. And he gets it out to perhaps the 29 or 30-yard line before running into Tim Fox. That's the first time they have thrown that little quick pass where the quarterback just steps back a couple of steps, immediately fires to the wingback coming in and slanting over the middle. That one was good for 13 yards.
Well, they have a little breathing space now. They're up to their own 30-yard line. 10 minutes, 12 seconds left of this football game.
Michigan moving rather slowly up to the line of scrimmage. Playing the nose man now is Aaron Brown, the freshman for Ohio State. Franklin on the option, rolling right side, pitches to Bell. Bell trying to turn the corner. And he gets out to about the 35 or 36-yard line before senior Steve Luke, pre-dental student from Massillon, Ohio, makes a stop on Gordon Bell, the junior. Bell is being given a rest. And for the first time today, coming into the Michigan backfield is a sophomore, Rob Lytle, from Fremont, Ohio. He is 6'1", 190. Runs the 100 in 9.6. That's Lytle. Let's see if they give him the football. Goes to Heater, and Heater on a trap. Off his own right tackle. Finds the opening that he's looking for. Crashes all the way up to about the 48-yard line where Bruce Elia makes a stop on Heater.
That's the first time that they used the mousetrap on that left tackle of Ohio State's line, Vince. Let him coming 1 or 2 steps over the line, and then he's hit from the side. That opened up the hole for Heater.
Ohio State has the kind of a defense that'll often bend. They'll give yardage in this position on the field. It is 1st and 10 for Michigan at the 48-yard line, their own 48. High formation again. And the give goes to running back Heater, and Heater this time trying to find it off his own left guard. Runs into a mountain of resistance led by Van de Cree. He picked up maybe a yard or two. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Vince, here's some more scores. At the end of the half, Michigan State 33, Iowa 21. In the second period, Wisconsin 14, Minnesota 14. In the second period, Purdue 23, Indiana 10. And at the end of the half, Notre Dame 28, Air Force nothing.
All right, they're up to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and about 8 yards to go. Chapman wide to the right and Smith wide to the left side from the eye. Fakes a give to Lytle, steps back, fires a pass to the right side, hitting Chapman right near the first down yardage. Needed about a yard shy of it. Steve Luke running him out of bounds before he can get another yard or two that would have made it 1st down. It'll be 3rd and a yard or a little less than a yard. Chapman is a guy that he's been going to most of the time today in the air. And he put Michigan on the board with a 42-yard reception of a pass for a touchdown. Nick Guanamici, a sophomore, has come in now, defensive tackle, so he is all right. He has recovered from his injury. 3rd down and a short yard. Michigan trying to convert it here. Here's the pitch to Lytle, running to the short side. Drives forward. He's got the 1st down. Put his head down and his shoulder. Drove in front of a couple of blocks and plats it at about the 40-yard line of Ohio State, 1st and 10.
Well, Vince, we've got quite a great high school football game going on in Class 5A. It's Glenbrook North 6, East St. Louis nothing. That game in the second period of play.
Yards rushing, not much to choose from so far. Ohio State with a 5-yard advantage there. First and 10 at the 40-yard line of Ohio State. Michigan trailing by 2. And Franklin gives to Heater, the fullback. Cracks over right guard and tackled straight away. Hit by Bruce Elia for short yardage. Give him perhaps a yard or two. Now let's see what they're trying to open up with that one. The clock is running. And it shows 7 minutes and 36 seconds remaining to play in this football game. Shadows here from the high deck where we are. Out across the field. But there's still bright sunshine. Down in the corner to our right, the far side, and in the corner here towards our left, the goal towards which Michigan is driving. Second down and 8 from the 38-yard line of Ohio State. Michigan trying to move it. Franklin takes the gift to the fullback. Comes out to the left. He is hit by Pete Kissick. What a tremendous defensive play by the senior tackle. 250-pounder. And there is the way you play the option to perfection.
Well, let me tell you, he can move quickly for a big man. When you can catch Franklin like that, you know you're moving off of the ball very quick.
Oh, he must have fought off 2 blockers, but nothing was going to stop him.
Big play here for the Wolverines.
12. Third and 12. The ball back to the 41-yard line of Ohio. Franklin steps back. He's looking. Fires one. Too high for Lytle at the 35-yard line. Lytle had to go up in the air, spin his body around to the right, and try to get the ball one-handed. Had the pass been in there, he would have still, I think, have been short of first down yardage by maybe 2 or 3 yards, but it was not well thrown.
I think the tackle on the last play set up that one because Franklin released that ball much too quickly. He had time, but as we mentioned, on his run, when he was tackled on the third down play, really set it up.
They are going to try a tremendous field goal. Mike Lantry is going to try to boot one of 59 yards. The ball will be placed by Tom Drake at about the 48 or 49. Lantry comes forward. It does not have a chance. It's not going to carry. It bounces in the end zone. Neil Colsey just lets it go for a touchback. And the score remains with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left to play. Ohio State 12, Michigan 10.
Get to a football game this close. Ohio State 12, Michigan 10, 6:20 left. Here's the action.
Asnagel motion to the left side to give goes to Archie Griffin. Reads it back into the left. Got loose for a moment from the first man to hit him. That line, but he still picks up no yardage. Maybe a yard. Hit by Jeff Perlinger. Griffin, a very, very tough man to bring down. They ruled that his forward progress brought him out to about the 22-yard line, so it's going to be second down and 8 with the Buckeyes. The clock working in their favor. A little less than 6 minutes to play in this football game. Wide to the right side now is Dave Hazel. Wing back to the right is Bashnagel. Fakes again, fires to Hazel. Complete to 35. Spins loose at the... From one man, it is finally brought down at the 39-yard line by Tommy Drake.
Well, it looks like they're not going to sit on that football. They want to score.
Beautiful slant-in pattern that time, going to Dave Hazel for 17 yards. He had caught 9 passes coming into this game. He's a senior. Wants to go on to medical school. Leonard Willis now in as a wide receiver to the left side. First and 10 at the 39-yard line of Ohio State. And Green gives to Griffin, and he is piled up After a gain out to about the 42-yard line, the defensive end for Michigan is Mr. Banks, who comes up there to make that stop. And linebacker Galvin O'Neill. We now have a little less than 5 minutes remaining. The ball at the 42-yard line of Ohio State with the Buckeyes after that 3-yard gain. It is second down and 7. Michigan has to get the football back. Here's a give to Griffin. Reads it back up the middle as he was tripped up, I believe, initially by O'Neill. Maybe Tim Davis had a hand on him, too, and he went down onto the carpet across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Dick Finn, how many yards now for Archie Griffin? 109 yards gained today for Griffin. He has gone for the 22nd straight game over the 100-yard mark. Mr. Larry Banks, number 32, the defensive end for Michigan, said Griffin will not gain over 100 yards today. If he does, it'll be over my dead body. So far, Banks' body is still functioning. There is a jump off by the left guard, Ted Smith, for Ohio State. Smith, number 60, a junior.
Well, that's a tough penalty because instead of third down and 3, now it's third down and 8.
Yep.
So this means that Hayes may put the ball in the air.
A tough one, of course, for Ohio State. It could be a godsend for Michigan. Mike Bartosik comes in. Doug France coming out. France 6'6", 260. Bartosik 6'4", 218. WGN Radio Chicago, Vince Lloyd, Lou Boudreau, Jack Rosenberg, our sports editor here, and we hope you're enjoying it. It's 12-10 Ohio State in these final minutes. On the reverse, and it is Paschnagel coming back, getting out to about the 43-yard line. They pulled that play beautifully one time. This time, he ran in to Jeff Perlinger, number 97. So it is fourth down and 6, and Michigan, with the clock running and showing 3.5 minutes left, will get their hands on the football again. And remember, if they can get close enough, they have a shot at a victory with a field goal. Dave Brown to safety, Tom Drake also back, and Tom Skladini, who has punted 3 times today for an average of 52 yards, gets this one away from his own 33, and he gets a lot of put into that one. It's taken at the 27 by Drake. Drake to the 30, spins around, and he can go nowhere there. Tom brought down. It'll be first and 10 for Michigan at the Wolverines' 30-yard line. That's the short kick by Skladini, only 31 yards and a 3-yard return.
Well, now, of course, all eyes will be on that clock, especially the Wolverines. We have a timeout on the field with 3 minutes and 4 seconds left. Ohio State 12, Michigan 10.
La 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 la.
You've caught your kids searching through the closets for the 3rd time today. The kitchen is beginning to groan under the weight of everything it takes to make your holiday dinner special. When you get downtown to shop is a question you'd just as soon not ask yourself. It's the time of year when feeling tired is feeling good. We know how it feels, too, because HFC is made up of all kinds of people. People who enjoy the holidays as much as you. And that's why we'd like to remind you, if we can help out in any way, just let us know. Household Finance, an equal opportunity lender.
All right, the Wolverines battling for perhaps a national championship, an undisputed Big Ten title, trail by 2 points. Here's Franklin dropping back, looking for a receiver. He fires a long one. It is incomplete. He was intending to hit Gil Chapman way down in Ohio State territory, but Chapman had double coverage by Steve Luke and Tim Fox.
Vince, I'm surprised that Bell hasn't returned to the lineup with his speed. He's a threat not only on the ground, but also as a receiver.
And he has been their most effective runner today. Bell has carried 25 times for 108 yards. Archie Griffin has carried 24 times for Ohio State for 109 yards. These have been two outstanding tailbacks. But Bell is not in there. Rob Lytle has replaced him. Second down and 10 from the 30. They've got to keep possession to keep their hopes alive. Puts it in the air again. Throwing for Smith. Overshoots him towards the sideline. He was throwing a sideline pass as Smith, the split end, went down into his right. Colsey and Plank there on double coverage. And that time, Dennis Franklin was off the mark. Threw the ball too near the sideline. There was no way that Jimmy Smith from Eisenhower, Blue Island, could get to that football. It is now third down and 10. Keith Johnson comes in with a play for Michigan. He replaces George Brzezinski. Gordon Bell seems to be all right. We see him across the way. The Michigan side. This is a big play for Michigan. 2 minutes, 54 seconds showing on the clock. Franklin drops back. Look out. He is buried at the 20-yard line by Nick Bonamici, the sophomore tackle. Bruce Elia, linebacker, also in there in the Buckeyes field. That's a football game. You can tell by the reactions on the sidelines and the guys who are on that gridiron. They think that's the one that broke their backs. As far as the Wolverines are concerned. Sophomore John Anderson from Waukesha, Wisconsin, is back in deep punt formation. If he punts, he'll boot this one from about his own 10-yard line. He gets a driving kick. Nobody back to cover. The ball bounces at the 33. Takes a Michigan bounce. They let it go down to the 25-yard line, and there it is drowned by Rob Lytle, number 25. First and 10 for Ohio.
Ohio wasn't taking any chances on a fumble of that punt, Vince. The kick went 55 yards to no return because they had all their men up close to the line of scrimmage.
I'm not sure they believe Michigan's punt either.
Well, it could be. With only 1 minute, 59 seconds left to play, it's Ohio State's football on their own 25-yard line.
Junior quarterback Cornelius Green comes into the huddle. He has Pete Johnson, Brian Bashnagel, Archie Griffin in the backfield. Their job, control the football for 1 minute and 59 seconds. They lead by 2 points. Wing back to the right. Green turns, he gives to the fullback. And it's Pete Johnson who is hit at about the 25-yard line, picks up maybe a yard. And timeout is taken by Michigan to stop the clock with 1 minute and 51 seconds remaining to play. Ohio State leading 12-10.
Your 46 Chicagoland Gallant Men of Olds have a brand new lineup that can't be beat. The new 75 Oldsmobiles with gas-saving radial tires standard. Better mileage built into every model according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. And lots of exciting new features, like unique reversible front seat cushions on the Cutlass S and Cutlass Supreme. Special safety night lights that go on before you open the door on new 88s and 98s. Distinctive dual rectangular headlights on the luxurious Toronado. And a new addition to the thrifty Omega family, the Omega Salon. And now there's even a whole new kind of Oldsmobile, the sporty 4-seater Old Starfire, with bold styling and a gutsy but economical V6 engine. The 1975 Oldsmobiles, they all come with one thing that hasn't changed, that terrific Gallant deal. So come on in and see them at your Chicagoland Gallant Men of Olds.
Well, when play is resumed with 1 minute and 51 seconds left, Michigan has 2 more timeouts to their credit. Hopefully, They want to get possession of that football. A first down by Ohio State on this series of downs certainly will put this game away.
Well, last year, Michigan rolled out front 10, or Ohio State took a 10-0 lead. The game wound up 10-10. Today, Michigan had a 10-0 lead. Now they are trailing 12-10. And this could be it for the Rose Bowl. Reverse. And Bashnagel with the ball. Shakes loose from a tackler at the 26-yard line. Is finally brought down near the 30. Timeout is taken again by Michigan. It's going to be third down at about 5 for Ohio State. Yep, Perlinger making that tackle. Now, it could be that the athletic directors who are going to vote on the representative of the Big Ten will say, look, you got to vote for Ohio State because they beat Michigan. And there are going to be those supporters of Michigan who will say, look, when you come to within 2 points of beating Ohio State or tying Ohio State at their field, we deserve some votes because they have lost one game and we have lost one game.
Plus the fact that they held him without a touchdown. It's been the foot
That's right.
of this youngster,
All field goals.
Clavin, who has 4 field goals to his credit. So actually you could say it's Clavin 12, Michigan 10.
Let me tell you, one of 45, one of 43. His longest field goal, 47 yards today. His shortest one, 25 yards. He has been the big difference. Tom Clavin, a junior from Cincinnati, Ohio. 4 field goals. That's as many as he had all year coming into this game.
Vince, the fans here, some 88,000 on their feet. Here we go.
43 left to play. Third down and 5 for Ohio State. Michigan wants to force a punt. Cornelius Green rolling to the right side. Penetration. They got him hemmed in, and they throw him for a loss back at the 23-yard line. Greg Morton coming in along with Tim Davis for Michigan. And also in there is Larry Banks. So it is a punt. And the clock is running.
Michigan is not using their last timeout. They won it while they have possession of that football.
Now, Woody Hayes, in their loss to Michigan State, criticized, rebuked the officials for not making Michigan State hurry in the final seconds of that game. His team is now going to take as much time as they possibly can. Almost a block. Kicker goes down, but no flag on the play. Dave Brown makes a catch at the 47-yard line. The clock is stopped with 57 seconds remaining to play.
How close can you come to blocking a kick as Calvin O'Neill really came close? And now, Michigan with possession of that football, 1 timeout left, 57 seconds left.
Davis came across. Actually, he did not make contact with that kicker, who went down, and he was not knocked down by any Michigan man. But he did a very fine acting job. Now, Michigan, 57 seconds showing on the clock. Starting from their own 47-yard line, down by 2 points. Franklin fires a pass, and a catch made by Jimmy Smith. At the 31-yard line, it's 1st and 10, and that will stop the clock. Neil Colsey making the tackle on the soaring catch by Jimmy Smith from Eisenhower High School.
And what a great catch. He had to leap, and the timing was perfect because Ohio State's man was in position.
Now they're at the 31-yard line. They have the wind at their backs. If they can get within field goal range, they can win it. Sideline pass, and he throws it away. Smith was well covered, and Franklin that time just threw the ball into the carpet to stop the clock. He wants to get over there for a word with Bo Schembechler and his staff.
46 seconds left of this great football game. What a finish.
Unbelievable. I have not heard the paid attendance here today. They were expecting 88,000, which would be a record.
Let me tell you, Vince, don't forget they still have Landry on that bench.
Oh, yes. But they need to get down there a few yards closer. He put in one last week of 43 yards against Purdue. Here's the give to Lytle on the cutback. He is down to the 25-yard line and down to about the 22-yard line. And that will be close to a first down. They will have to stop the clock to measure to see whether or not Lytle, on a beautiful cutback, picked up the first down yardage. And now they are getting within field goal range.
What a measurement right here. Although they have 39 seconds left on the clock, it's a first down for Michigan on Ohio State's 21.5-yard line, and you can be sure that they will keep possession of this football to get a little better position for Lantry.
One thing about Mike Lantry, he had been bothered by a bad leg earlier this year. Not his kicking leg, his other one. But last week against Purdue, he looked strong. Clock is now running. 30 seconds, 29, 28, Michigan up to the line of scrimmage. Dennis Franklin on the give, a running play to Lytle. Lytle puts his head down, wraps both arms around the football, drives forward to the 15-yard line, and timeout is taken on the field. I believe that is the last timeout that Michigan has. It stops the clock with 18 seconds showing. Now they are, Lou, within field goal range, I'd say.
And Vince, the smartest decision, in my opinion, of the Michigan's coaching staff was not to take their third timeout while Ohio State had the football. They are now in position for the field goal with 18 seconds left, and they have taken their third and final timeout. The ball is placed exactly on the 16-yard line of Ohio State.
I see Steve King over there across the way. He was injured earlier, and he's on crutches.
Landry is in the football game. It will be from the hash mark on the far side of the field, the east side.
He kicked a 37-yarder in this game today. Tom Drake is going to hold. This will be a 33-yard attempt that could send Michigan to the Rose Bowl. Here is a snap. It is down. It is up. The kick is no good. No good. And the fans are pouring out of the field, out of the stadium here, out of the field.
There is 16 seconds left, but I doubt whether they'll get the remaining 16 seconds left to play. Field is covered. The goalposts are down, Vince, on the left.
He missed one point-after touchdown last year. He is a veteran of the Vietnam War. Larry has a son, a walk-on student, and I just saw him look so disconsolate, so dejected, as he reached down and picked up the ball holder, the key, on his aborted attempt for a field goal that would have given Michigan an apparent victory, perhaps a national championship, and certainly the bid to the Rose Bowl.
Vince, I'd have to make this remark. I would have to say that Coasley actually lost his head by going over to the bench of Michigan, and we are now having the field cleared, so we will get in the final 16 seconds of this football game.
Ball just carried off to the right, I believe. They have now torn that goalpost down where Lantry attempted his boot. That's at the north end here, the closed end of this horseshoe.
There should be only one more play, Vince. Michigan does not have any more timeouts, and actually Green will just fall on that football, and that should be the ball game. A tremendous finish.
What a sad sight to see Mike Lantry sitting all by himself over in the other side. Really dejected. He thought that he was back in form after kicking field goals against Purdue last week, one of 43 yards. Had a 37-yarder in this game. Here's a snap. And just falling down on that football, of course, is Cornelius Green. A flag on the play, if it makes any difference. Where Michigan needed the flag was on the previous play on the missed field goal attempt. Our thanks here to Tip Carpenter, our engineer, and our deep thanks to Dick Finn, the baseball coach here at Ohio State, spotting for us again this afternoon and keeping so many of the statistics, and did an absolutely super job. Dick, good luck to your Buckeyes in baseball, and if you get any good pitchers, good hitters, send them along to the Cubs, will you? Dak Rosenberg, our sports editor, Lou Boudreau, and yours truly, Vince Lloyd, and what a super exciting football game here today. Ohio State, 7 seconds, 5 seconds now. Fans again starting to come out on the field, which had been cleared. There's the finish. Ohio State has beaten Michigan. The Buckeyes 12, the Wolverines 10.
What makes Old Style a great light beer? Where it's brewed and how it's brewed. That's why Old Style is double brewed in God's country, where the water is crystal clear and flows from springs deep beneath the floor of a beautiful valley, some say all the way from Canada. With water this pure, when you brew a beer once, you've got a good beer. But when you brew a beer twice, you've got a great light beer. This double brewing process is called krausening. Krausening is a traditional old-world process, the most natural way to brew beer, and the most expensive. Try Old Style, pure brewed in God's country.
G. Heilemann Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
One Michigan player, Harry Banks, was surrounded by some fans down there. And we saw him kind of elbow his way out of it. He didn't want to get into a fight with his kids around him. But in all justice, Lou, to Bo Schembechler, coach of Michigan, who has to be a tremendously dejected man after this loss today, and to Coach Woody Hayes, these two teams, I think, for the tremendous pressure and tension of this football game, how much it meant to both of these teams and both of these schools, I thought that these players conducted themselves today in absolutely flawless fashion on the field. Sure, there was hard-hitting, tremendous hard-hitting, but you didn't see a lot of personal fouls. There were no personal fouls. There was a minimum of mistakes. And what mistakes I think were made here, my opinion, Lou, were made because of the tremendous hard-hitting by both of these squads, all of it legal. And I think that both Schembechler and Hayes deserve a lot of credit, along with their staff, for the excellent job that they have done coaching their squad.
I have to back up every statement that you made, Vince. In my opinion, I don't think you'll see a better played fundamentally football game than right here. I thought for a moment that Woody Hayes was too conservative in the last 2 minutes. He could have beaten himself by holding on to that football because of the timeouts used by Michigan very cleverly. And actually, Landry's attempted field goal could have been the difference of this football game. But nevertheless, that's his choice. And he was hoping that his defense would hold up the second half. It did. And he came through with a 12-10 victory. But as you mentioned, both squads, well-coached, well-disciplined, in one of the hardest fought football games I think we've ever seen collegiate-wise.
Yes,
and
sir.
If there was just some way, Vince, that you could control the crowds at such an event as this, I think the pleasure would be more so to the effect of spectators than what we've seen here. But it's a tough decision to make. How you're going to control it, I'll never know unless you fence in a football field.
Yeah, and you can't do that. It's enthusiasm of some 88,000 fans here today. We now have the Ohio State University band on the field in their post-game concert. I think that's who they are down there. because along with them you have thousands of spectators. They have ripped down the goalpost to our left, the north one, and that's where the disconsolate Mike Lantry saw his kick go awry from within field goal distance. And to our right, down here at the other end, the horseshoe end of the stadium, the open end of the horseshoe, they have just about gotten that goalpost down. It is another victory for the Buckeyes. They wind up tied in the Big Ten Conference with Michigan again this year.
Now the big decision will be tomorrow in Chicago with the athletic directors voting for the Rose Bowl representative of the Big Ten. And Vince, once again, I think this has been our greatest year in football coverage with outstanding games through the entire year. And it's been a pleasure and working again alongside of you. And our thanks, I know, to our sponsors.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it all. And Lou did an outstanding job again this season. We had only one game in our entire series that was not decided until the last moment, and that was last week in Michigan's rout of the Purdue Boilermakers. Today it wound up Ohio State 12 and Michigan 10. And how would you vote if you were the athletic directors of the Big Ten tomorrow? Which team would you send to the Rose Bowl? Today's game has been brought to you by Household Finance, the company that has solved more financial problems for more people than anyone else in their business. That's HFC, Household Finance. Your neighborhood Chicagoland Oldsmobile dealers, those gallant men of Olds, to invite you to see the all-new 75s. Because if you don't see Oldsmobile for 75, you'll never know what you're missing. And by the G. Heilman Brewing Company of La Crosse, Wisconsin, makers of Old Style, the pure brewed beer from God's country. Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau, our thanks to you for being with us today, and our thanks to Jack Rosenberg, our producer, our director, Jack Minovich, Dick Finn, our spotter for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes baseball coach, our engineer, Tip Carpenter from WCOL here in Columbus. Tomorrow, be listening at 11:30 in the morning, right here in this same spot. The Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions will be going at it tomorrow from Detroit. Mike Pyle, Jack Brickhouse, Herb Kupcinet will all be at these microphones tomorrow to bring you what we hope will be another exciting football game, and who knows, maybe it'll be a Chicago Bear victory. Stay tuned now for our college football scoreboard. This has been a presentation of WGN Sports from WGN Radio Chicago. First in sound, first in service, and first in sports.